Hey, riding through Texas. Hey. Y'all know that's my favorite part. Y'all know that's my favorite part when Miss Beyonce throws up that Illuminati symbolism, girl, on our part. Y'all know what it is. What's going on, Conscious Crew? Welcome to another riveting episode. I told you guys earlier when we were doing the Monique Bonnet ass cheeks out dialogue that it would be possible for us to be right back here again. And as the devil has this world set up, girl, you just never know. You just never know the way that Lucifer has this damn world set up, honey. So we're here, okay? We're going to get into some things, okay? Now, I wanted to get into this yesterday on the Wireless Show, because the Wireless Show, he was live yesterday and he was talking about, you know, the whole Lil Nas X situation, and people were calling in, and, you know, some folk felt the way and everything. So we was getting it going on over there. So I want to have a conversation around the controversy behind Lil Nas X 2021 B.E.T. Award performance Kiss Soft. Okay? Because a lot of things happened at this year's B.E.T. honey. B.E.T. was lit, girl. Like, Megan Thee Stallion and Young Money made out in the after show, girl. Lil Nas X is being a whole fembot on stage, honey. You know, Kurt Franklin clearly isn't canceled as him, and the baby, Lil Baby, was a baby, Lil Durk, whoever the hell it was, had done, you know, opened up the show, child. It was just a lot going on. It was just a lot. It was lit, and it was crazy as hell. And it was a talking point, because I think 2021's BET Awards probably was like the wildest the show has ever been. Like, it was just so wild and sexually fluid, and there was just like so much sweat and weave and sew-in needles and shit flying out of people's head. Girl, it was just off the chain like that. So, you know, it's been great as a catalyst to have really interesting conversation around sexuality, homosexuality, misogynism, patriarchy, capitalism, blah, 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 blah. I also have a special guest here. He's going to be joining me in today's commentary. You guys already know him. He's also a mod for this platform. He's also just became a host over on Bingo. Okay, so go and shout out my boy, Reckless Logic, over on YouTube and Instagram, honey. He can use your beans, he can use your bags, he can use your coin, whatever the hell all that shit is going on that Bingo screen, girl. Got to support him and throw them dollars at him. I'm going to be bringing him in to this discussion as well, okay, so we can get into some things. If you guys feel pressed and pissed or frizzy or want to chime in on today's commentary, I will be dropping the link. So you guys are more than welcome to hit the link and come up here, girl, and get into some things with us. Now, I have this conversation and dialogue set up a certain kind of a way. So we're going to be traveling through quite a bit of stuff, okay, before we get to the minutia. Not really quite a bit of stuff, but we're going to have to travel through some things so we can set up the minutia, okay? So while you guys are giving me a nasty piece of thumbs up, honey, thumbs up this video. Definitely share this stream out, girl. Get the word out, girl. Let's do it, honey. If you're new here, definitely hit the motherfucking subscribe button. While you guys are doing all of that, I'm going to go ahead and play my motherfucking intro, and then we're going to get hot and heavy up into the shit, honey. Oh, girl.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
What's going on, Strictly?
Nothing much. I have a
Okay, you're
question.
sounding like a little low. Can you crank up the volume, speak into the microphone?
Oh, I got you. Is that better?
Not really.
Not really. Give me 1 second.
See, I don't know why
Hello?
y'all... Huh?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
I can hear you, but you sound distant. Are you able to talk into the actual mic?
Hold on, let me see. Is this better?
Yes, way better.
Period, bitch.
Okay, stay there. I don't know why y'all be wanting to come up on my shit and then want to be changing, rearranging all
You
type
know
of shit.
what's coming.
Stay wherever the hell you was in the pre-show is where you stay at for the show.
You love trying to come for me. Here we go. You starting
Okay.
up already.
Thank you for joining me today.
Woo.
I am happy to be getting into this discussion. Before we get there, can you introduce the folk? Introduce yourself to the folk and everything.
All right, what's going on, all types of bitches and hoes? My name is
Okay, hold on, wait a minute.
Okay, I'm fucking with you.
This ain't no motherfucking bingo hoe.
Okay. I have to come back to my classy side. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the land of reckless lottie. This is where we're gonna have sensitive topics. This is where we're gonna have discussions, and this is where things make it a little bit passionate. But however, always remember who you are, and always remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.
Man. Okay. So you guys see what the title is, girl. We gotta get into some sexuality things, and we gotta get into some B.E.T. things, okay? First, I just want to start off by just giving my viewpoints about award shows, like musical award shows, like B.E.T, the Video Music Awards, American Music Awards, Country Music Awards, Hip Hop Awards, so on and so on and so on. Okay, I do not believe that award shows are really a true testament first of all, I don't believe in this type of I don't believe in these like reward-based systems as it relates to art. I feel like art really is supposed to be acknowledged, not necessarily rewarded. And I don't feel like these type of reward-based systems account for the level of artistry that all artists put into their music. It definitely doesn't account for the other co-writers, the producers, the engineers who all make music happen, like
Behind the scenes.
Cardi B, Beyonce, Bruno Mars. They are the mascot of the song, but the song, like everything else regarding a artist, requires an actual team. And so award-based shows aren't even inclusive of all of the other musicians and all of the other like technical components that go into the music that they are only going to give the artist credit for. So I don't like that part. I also don't and not really here for the fact that award-based shows make it about who gets the most streams, who gets the most like radio views, which records get the most spins, who gets more click and views, because it also takes away from like the interpersonal value that an artist puts into a song that may have been written out of like a tragedy, out of a miscarriage, out of a heartbreak, a song that was dedicated to your mother. None of that goes into the way that music is measured and valued. And so I feel like the whole fucking system around music and who makes it and who doesn't and who's rewarded, like the whole system is fucking flawed. It's entirely flawed. And so I'm not really I'm not into the reward part of the award show shenanigans, you know. Do you have anything that you want to say to that, Reckless?
For one, I never thought that deep on it, really on award shows. Wait, first, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I want to make sure because my little bubble wasn't moving. Okay, so when it comes to award shows or whatever, I will say after you explain it, yes, I do agree. But I also say too is that some award shows actually do reward the people that are in the background as well, like the I forgot what the thing is called, ACP, something like that, about the Writers Award or whatever. But I would say I agree, because at first, to be honest with you, I never thought that deep on it when it comes to award shows. But I will say this too, I think a lot of times too, people believe that when a song doesn't get a certain award, that it's quote unquote not as good anymore, or it takes away from the artistry or how people look at the song or the art. You get what I'm saying? So I do believe that is a fact that plays a part, because I know some people that if the song is not quote unquote popping, then all of a sudden they don't like the song no more. You get what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, I've seen so many people receive awards who I personally, I mean, based upon the way the merits are set up, like who I felt like didn't necessarily deserve that level of acknowledgement over other people. Like there's so many artists who make such great music who never even get invited to these award shows. They never even get nominated for these award shows, and yet their music and their artistic contribution to society is just as valuable, just as meaningful. Like a lot of these artists, both mainstream and non-mainstream artists, like their music has literally saved lives. Like people, like the second best thing that ever happened to humanity aside from God is music. Music is like God personified through sound. Music has been responsible for like literally healing hearts, literally keeping people within their sanity. It's literally been people's like relief in their medicine. Like it's been like a holistic medicine for humanity. And so there's really no system that could ever be created to really give just due and credit to the way that music shapes society, the way that it inspires our individuality, the way that it soothes and comforts and incites so much emotionalism out of us. Like there's no system that could ever really do that freaking justice. But I love it nonetheless. So with that being said, honey, hold on, let me pull up my mother freaking notes here so that I don't get lost in my own minutia, honey. So BET, right, is being called out, okay, in part by LGBT allies and LGBT individuals themselves for kind of doing the least as it relates to the inclusion of LGBT people, particularly Black LGBT, of the Black LGBT community, right? So this interesting tension between BET and the Black LGBT community kind of is a little like long-standing. I'm not sure if you guys remember a few years ago, the B. Scott incident, which we're going to take a look at here, because once again, we're going to kind of like set some things up before we get into the heart of the discussion. But BET ended up in a bit of a drama and a tiff. Did I say BET?
Yes. BET.
Yes, BET ended up in a drama and a tiff with a commentator and social media influencer B. Scott a few years ago when they hired B. Scott to be on the red carpet corresponding with celebrities. I'm going to put up an article here just to refresh our memories, because I was definitely alive and well when this drama happened. Do you remember being around when this drama happened, Reckless?
I remember it's like scutterbutt about it, but I don't think I was like deep into media at the time.
Okay. Well, we're going to pull it up here.
Seeing something of it.
Let me see if it pulled up. Okay, just pull it up, you guys. So let's read a little bit here just to get into this thing. Okay, so this is from HuffPost.com. And it reads that B. Scott, host of BET Awards pre-show, allegedly told to remove makeup heels by network. So for those of you who don't know who the hell B. Scott is a huge Mariah Carey stan who first got his start on YouTube. He was kind of like a part of the first wave of those who had become sensationalized on YouTube when YouTube first came out. He was doing like a lot of celebrity stuff, a lot of gossip talk, you know, just known for his androgyny, known for his hair, for his gender bending ways. Now he's kind of morphed into, he has his own gossip website and column, just like the Shade Room, just like TMZ, just like the Neighborhood Talk. You can go to bscott.com and get all of the latest gossip. Okay, so this is B. Scott here. Okay, so because B. Scott presents as an androgynous individual, That's what B. Scott had assumed he was also being hired to do, is to be himself. So let's get into the article. The 2013 BET Awards aired live at the Nokia Theater, LA in Los Angeles on June 30th, but it wasn't anything that went down on stage that appears to have caused the most controversy. Prior to the ceremony, the network aired coverage of the forward red carpet featuring B. Scott and singer Andrea Bowlin. Clutch magazine notes. B. Scott, a contributing editor to the Glam Network and an Ebony magazine advice columnist, is known for his witty words and style. In 2010, he shared his coming out story via popular YouTube account. After the BET Awards, Scott took to his Twitter account to address tweets about BET allegedly making him change his wardrobe and remove his heels, lipstick, as New One reports. Complete outfit change at the last minute. Okay, we ain't even going to get into that. Oh no, we are going to get into that. Complete outfit change at the last minute at Love B. Scott. Wait, what? They didn't allow you to wear heels at the BET Awards? Question mark, question mark, question mark. I wasn't going to say anything, but my spirit is truly hurt, was B. Scott's response to Jasmine E. Okay, I'm sorry if I let anybody down today. I tried my best and it wasn't enough. From B. Scott on Twitter. Okay, as Rolling Out magazine points out, Scott tweeted that he initially wasn't going to speak about the issue and apologized if he had let anyone down. He then went on to state that his saving grace was a Procter and Gamble consultant. What? Did I say that right? A Procter and Gamble consultant who voiced that the company didn't support what allegedly took place. God knows my heart what happened at the end of the day. I would not even be here if it was not for his grace. My true saving grace was the Procter and Gamble consultant who said, we at P&G do not support what they are doing to you. After a slew of supportive tweets were retweeted by Scott, he thanked Mariah Carey, I told y'all guys he was a stan, for being a friend to him that night, and shared an Instagram picture of the two with the caption, so my Mimi, someone said my career is over, LOL. Okay, then they go to exchange some affections. In the picture, Scott is wearing dark lipstick, which he was without during the red carpet coverage prior to posting the picture of Scott and Carey on Instagram. The host posted a video where he says, let me just say this, I am so fucking beat and I don't give a fuck who don't like it. Period. Guys, okay? Below are two pictures of the outfit Scott wore on the air during the red carpet segment. And here it is. You can see he's without his lipstick. You guys can also see that he's without his heels. So what BET essentially did was basically tell him that he had to present as a male. So they gave him an ultimatum to either not do the show at all, or he could remove the feminine female attire he was blending with the blazer and the pants. And B. Scott was like really hurt because he felt like he had let his fans down. He felt like he should have had a bigger backbone against BET. And you know, a lot of this, before we even get into the minutia, girl, a lot of this is just really shows you like the type of rock in a hard place that a lot of like aspiring artists and aspiring entrepreneurs and a lot of aspiring industry people are, because obviously like somebody more seasoned with more clout, with more experience, who don't necessarily need BET, probably would not have even been addressed or put in this predicament. But because he's new, you can put his back up against the wall because you know that he's probably more pressed to have the opportunity and to sell his soul than not do so. And even when it comes down to the whole like Illuminati conspiracy, blood sacrifices, and the pacts that are made behind closed doors within the industry, a lot of that shit like starts right here, because they pretty much play off of your excitement. They play, and this is any type of demonic system. And this is why, if you are a parent or a guardian of someone who is going into any like hyper visible space, whether it's like playing in mainstream sports, whether it's them signing a record deal, whether it's making it in the American Idol finals, like anything that is in the area of like heightened fame and with the potential of massive wealth, these demonic systems hide behind that fame. They hide and lurk in the darkness of that fame and wealth. And they target people right out of the gate because they are the ones who are more inclined
to do it,
to be a puppet. Yes, because when you take people out of the struggle and give them a shot at anything, how many people are going to walk away from an opportunity that can potentially change their life? Not a lot of people are going to be able to say no. And I know a lot of people say, I would never sell my soul, and I would never do that. Yeah, all these people who sold their soul said the very same thing until the opportunity was put in their hands. And this demonic system hiding behind celebrity, hiding behind wealth, hiding behind fame, literally goes back to thousands of years. And I'm going to let Reckless Logic chime in right after I say this. There's an instance in the New Testament that illustrates this across the board, and it has to do with the devil coming to tempt Jesus while he was fasting for 40 days and 40 nights. What did that demonic system offer to Christ in order to get him to compromise his humanity, to compromise his spirituality? He offered him wealth. He offered him dominion and power if only he would compromise himself for the demonic system. And so this looks universally the same wherever you hear this at when it comes to this system, whether we're talking about the royal lineages and all of the crazy satanic shit that goes on behind the scenes of royal kingdoms and royal families, whether it's the shadow government or deep governmental systems where you have whistleblowers who come out and talk about the occult satanic shit that goes on behind the scenes of deep of once again that deepened political governmental matrix, or whether it's your mainstream celebrities who whistle blow and hint or all out come out and talk about all of the occultic demonic shit that goes on in the background of these systems. The same thing is being offered. More visibility, more egotism, more things that are relevant to your egoic identity in exchange for the compromise of your will. Now, I know you wasn't prepared to really go into all of that reckless logic, but if there's anything you want to say to that before we move on.
Yes. All right. So what I'm gonna say is one thing I have learned, is that whenever people be like, I would never, that never word is very, 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 very powerful. Because the thing I realize is that people when they typically say I would never do something, it normally always ends up happening. I feel like this goes to the whole thing where people used to say I would never sell my soul. You have to be careful when you make statements like that, because you never know what type of verification code that you're sending to come your way. As in, you know, you may say I would never sell my soul, but however, you never know what type of package deal may get presented to you to the point, and it might be modified to your liking to the point that it's like there's no way you could possibly say no. So that's one thing I've learned, is to stop saying that I would never, because every time I said I never, it did, and it happened. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. But yes, when it comes down to people entering an industry or entering where it's high publicity or fame, whatever, yes, we always hear stories about them having to be put in situations where it's kind of like their morals, and then it's on top of that, it's either what you kind of want to have, the change of life, change of lifestyle or whatever. So yes, that does get put to the test. And I feel like they prey off, like you said, the excitement, and also prey off the enthusiasm or the Yeah, the enthusiasm of the person willing to be there. Because, like you say, if they have more clout, if they have more experience, then they probably wouldn't, even try with them because they know, okay, this person just gonna leave. But I think that's really sad. I think that's really pathetic to be sitting there preying on new talent. Because let's be very clear, you guys hit B. Scott up, which means that you obviously you didn't care about him being a gender bender or whatever. You didn't care because obviously you felt like he was fit enough to be able to handle the job and be able to do the job correctly and to the best of his ability and to the best of you guys' expectations. So I don't like the fact of you bring him there to do a job and then you want to critique him on certain things that you knew was a part of his attire. It's not like he was just presented one way that he showed up somewhere else. No, he came, he was already in the space presented as a certain way. So you can't get mad when he show up to the place dressed as a certain way because he always presented himself as such. So this is also
you're absolutely right. And to that very point, it also goes to show like how powerful us as viewers are, because just look at where the culture was like just in 2013, where BET would never do something like that today, but was able to get away with doing something like that then because it was still okay to ultimately marginalize and to be trans and homophobic just shy of 10 years ago, like just shy of that. And it goes to show that like now in this heightened political climate, like obviously with BET, then going from the extreme of telling B. Scott, take off your heels, take off your makeup, and pull your hair back into a ponytail, to now allowing a fully open, charismatic gay man perform on the BET and allow him to make out with a man on live television. But that's not because BET has grown genuinely. It's just because all of these institutions are understanding that there's consequences and repercussions to being openly discriminative against LGBT people or any marginalized persons. And so that brings me to my next question of like, with this heat behind BET, like doing the least in order to receive the most, like, what do you think about BET's posture? Like, do you feel disappointed in BET as a Black LGBT man? Like, do you feel like they have let us down in terms of we've not been able to really see ourselves on BET at all? Like, I've seen more of myself on MTV, Bravo, VH1 in terms of, like gay celebrities, gay reality TV individuals. Like you have the Andy Cohens, and you have all of these like different representations everywhere else. But I feel like BET has like dragged their feet and has been kind of like just there. And you can speak to if that's been your observation or what your observation of BET is as it relates to like everything going on with the Black LGBT community.
Well, I'm going to that question directly, yes and no. Yes, because of course everybody wants to see representation of themselves, and of course, it does kind of let you down when you quote unquote support something or you continuously watch something and you find out that they're not in quote unquote accepting of people like you. So it's kind of like, I have a friend and she used to go to this church or whatever. And the thing what happened with her is that she always went to this church. She loved this church. Then she found out the people that the pastor stuff was racist. And so it kind of stung her a little bit. And the same thing I can say for us is like we always support, especially this Black network, at least presenting Black, because I don't know who owns it, but this presenting Black network, and to find out they don't really see it for us like that. But at the same time, to be honest, no, I'm not. I'm not really disappointed because I didn't really expect much from BET. Because let's be very honest and very clear about us as melanated people. They treat us like that in the real world. So why would I expect quote unquote them to change that in a network that's ran by them? But also keep in mind too, when it comes down to the representation of Bravo, all these other things, you gotta remember those are Caucasian, lighter tone individuals. And remember, within the Black community, we have harsh, toxic standards. Caucasian people, they don't really have those same standards, at least as much, because within the Black community, if you're not a masculine man or whatever, then quote unquote, you're not a real man. But if you're not like a hyper feminine woman, you know, you're not a real woman. But within Caucasian areas or whatever, they have the ability to show up as different type of men, different type of women. So yes, they are able to have the ability and able to accept people more compared to us. So for me personally, no, I'm not 100%, let down, because at the end of the day, I didn't really expect them to, give, two fucks about us. Honestly, be honest with you, because be quite honest, they showing a lot of stuff. So no, I'm not 100% shocked. So,
well, I'm gonna say this, and I also agree with everything that you just stated. At this point, BET need to get their fucking shit together. At this point in time now, like, the network can see where the culture is. The network can see the influence and the volume of Black queer people who exist in this country, who work in media, who work in entertainment. And for BET to be a Black space, BET should be more responsible for not just lending this platform to educate and to be supportive of also like queer Black content creator and queer Black artists. They should be lending their platform to just really being in dedication to their own fucking mantra, to Blackness. Like, BET should be a pivot to education around civil rights, around Black history. Like, all these documentaries that Netflix are doing really should be documentaries that BET is fucking funding, producing, and publishing. And for BET to be Black fucking entertainment and reduce itself to just running sitcoms all fucking day and putting the most random shit that nobody finds the value of on the fucking network is fucking insane. Like, BET should be ashamed of its fucking self. Like, just period. If BET wanted to change the narrative and really want to get on the bandwagon and make it significant, that wouldn't be trying to remedy the issue with putting Lil Nas X up on the BET stage and allowing him to tongue kiss another nigga on public television. I mean, shout out to you. But once again, that's doing the least for the fucking most. Like, how about you actually, as a network, produce sit-downs and dialogue between historians and scholars and intellectuals from all walks of life who can come together and talk about the intersections of Blackness and queerness? Like, why can't we see that on BET? Why can't we see these open dialogues between heteros, homos, trans, etc., and deal with these issues head on? Like, how I because it's not difficult. Like, this is not difficult. Like, BET literally, I'm talking, BET could really get it popping while also putting on up and coming influencers, like putting young Pharaoh up on a panel with maybe a CTV or with a King Reeves or with an Adrian Expression, and allowing, like, seeing these worlds come together, wrinkle out their differences. Like, there's just like there's so much that can be done. Like, hold on for 1 minute. I got my boo who's also here. Hi, YB.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Just catching y'all conversation.
I'm glad you can catch it, y'all. I'm in here giving BET the business about how, there should be so much more that the network fucking offers to not only Black queer people, but just Black people in general. And for BET not to be a place that's not only entertaining, but that's not educational, considering that we know that the American curriculum doesn't teach Black students doesn't teach African people anything about their economics, doesn't teach them anything about their real history, doesn't teach them anything about the real Black Wall Street, the disaster and the murder and the lynching and the destruction of Black Wall Street. Like, so much Black history, BET could be taken advantage of, including the contributions of LGBT civil rights leaders who have played a major foundational integral role in the Black rights that Dr. King was able to go march his ass ahead for, that Malcolm X and so forth. Like, and BET is not making itself responsible for any of that Black shit. And I would say also does a poor job at even doing real justice to the entertainment factor as well. What do you have to say to that?
First of all, how y'all doing? What's up, Reckless? How you doing?
What's going on?
Y'all all right? Okay. I feel like BET. I hope people realize that. I don't know if this is still truth, but it was truth back in the day. BET isn't even owned and operated by Black people.
Black people. Yeah.
You know, so I'm never surprised when there's no true representation when it comes to either us as the Black community or us as the Black gay community. Everything they did with this BET Awards is strategic. They know that they've been a flop for the past several years. I stopped watching because they've been a flop. A lot of shows that they produce are flops, and I feel like they're white oriented. They still do dumb shit like put the chocolate girl. You only get one of those. Everybody else is light skinned. They still promote that kind of shit. And a lot of the stuff they promote too is also gay engineered. So it's just like y'all underhandedly represent us. Yeah. Without really accepting that you represent us. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Absolutely.
You know, like, okay, we're gonna feed y'all something. We're gonna put these niggas on here with no shirts. We're gonna give the gay stylist, and they still to this day, like, we reference that all the time, but it's still very true. We truly do. We don't have nothing for us by us. The only person who's getting any clout right now in that creative space is homeboy who's a part of P Valley, the guy who created Patrick Ian Polk, and he's really not even getting truly celebrated for his work in that, because I think a woman is the actual creator of it. He's just like the executive producer of the show. But we still don't even. A lot of people are praising the girl, but they're not really praising the gay man who has a big stake in this as well. That was one of the most successful shows of last year.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And even in there, we see a switch up with Clifford. There are moments where he even has to police himself. So are we truly being able to be ourselves? Or do we have that right representation where it makes us okay to be by ourselves? Because even that kiss with Nas X seemed hesitant. There was a nervousness there.
I'm going to be honest. It seemed like his Ritalin was acting up the entire damn performance for me.
I was nervous.
Honey, Mama killed that, honey. She slayed that performance.
Yeah, I liked it.
I would have thrown my shoes at that bitch if I was in front of her.
No, when she paid homage to Remember the Time, honey.
Yeah, I was
when she paid that breakdown dance, like, yeah, everything. Mama is fit. There is no ounce of fat on her, but bitch, when I tell you, honey, Mama has been in that gym. She has been pumping to see all of those beautiful Black men of different shades and everything just come on there, and men, nothing but men. No women inside, and no offense to women, you know what I'm saying? But this is the first time I think we've seen like an all gay man with other all gay men. Yeah, just like do this shit
in a like, quote unquote straights award show where they, you know, they gonna get upset. But I also find it very funny how, you know, and this is also another thing I like to call being gay under contract, and you know, behind the scenes. We're the hairstylists. We all in the background. We doing all this, which also find it very weird how a lot of these artists, you know, they have their views and they have all these things about, you know, people like us, but yet you have us on your team creating and be. So what you mean to tell me is that you want to use our talent, but you don't see us as normal people, quote unquote. Correct. And the thing that with BET is that you want to use our talent, but however. It's cool in the background, but once we get into the front, now you want to police and be able to control how we present ourselves. Now I can see if he had a tank, like if he was all in the profile, like he was damn near naked. Okay, I can somewhat see, because at the same time they allow women to do it all the time. But here's the thing: they want to police us on how we, we show up. But let's not forget, history is really repeating itself. They used to do the same thing to black people. Don't you forget when black women used to come out? Oh, you're gonna make sure your hair is straight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on now, like y'all repeating the exact same thing they've done to us as melanated people, but now you're doing it to queer. Like, I don't understand that. That's just real crazy to me. And plus, I'm only 23 years old, and I know this.
I'm gonna be honest. The only thing that Lil Nas X made me remember was how Michael Jackson did it much motherfucking better.
Well, I don't think he's trying to do it though. I think he's just paying homage. Like, of course, we know Lil Nas X is not even known for dancing.
Yeah,
we know that we know. So I just think the little effort that he gave, it was enough for me, because I don't think he was trying to be Michael. I think he wanted to be a representation of himself while still showing respect and love to the late great father of all things entertainment, honey.
This girl talking about some
Lil Nas X he's not giving me that work. I would rather have rather him pay more homage to more time in dance rehearsals, more homage to his choreographer, so he can really get that stage presence down.
Honey, let me tell you something real quick. Mama has been spending that coin in the past year because of Miss 19. She has been, the things that she's been putting into these dancers, into these shows, has been top notch and behind the scenes. The things that he has to do to bring everyone together. Because remember, I don't know if you remember the SNL performance, they had to switch half of their dancers within 24 hours because all of his dancers caught 19. So even on the end, let us not forget that SNL performance was the first time he actually kissed that boy or kissed a man on live television like that. And then I don't know why B.E.T so surprised, Chad. Why are we so surprised he already did it?
Because he did it in this space.
When he walked up there, I knew it. And I said, B.E.T's going to let this happen because they're chasing that clout. They don't like us. They don't care about us. Like I said in the chat earlier, these motherfuckers, just like y'all been saying, they want to use us.
Well, for one, I'm gonna put it like this.
And let's not act like Tyler Perry wasn't getting hard, honey. Hello.
I'm not gonna get into that. I'm not gonna come on this. But what I will say is this: is that I feel like there are some people that care about us, but however, they're just not empowered. And I feel like we need to LGBT, Black, queer people. We need to continue to try to get into that company and get into power, bitch, and let them know.
Yeah. The same reason I go off with the web series, like we're fighting for change and crumbs when we really need to be getting on these major networks. Those are the things and owning them, having stakes in them, having investments in them. That way we have ownership. Like that's why we've been fighting hard for reparations and things, so that we can be verified, so we can be solidified in some type of generational wealth, so that the struggle for the Black community isn't as it's been for the last thousands of fucking years for us. Why is it that we always have to carry the pain? Why do we always have to be in the space where we're not free or we're properly represented? And people want to get mad when we burn shit to the ground, when we commit certain crimes, when we're out here just trying to survive, and they want to round up the girls for the PPP loans. Bitches gotta survive. What, and y'all get mad? Y'all would get mad if someone treated you like a rat in a cage.
And they do. Hell, are we not going to forget the Capitol riot? They do.
Yeah,
we see how bad white America gets when they feel the slack. They can't deal, honey. But I want to ask y'all a question before I do so. I'm all here for the whole like gay thing, gay artists, gay music, gay whatever. Like, shout out to Todrick Hall. I just am not here for Lil Nas X because I don't think he's an industry plant in terms of no gay agenda shit. But he reminds me of like those artists that labels used to recruit back in like the early 2000s who like could be packaged. Like somebody looked at him and said, there's enough here to be marketable and to be packaged. It's very clear to me that Lil Nas X has no talent. It's very clear to me.
You just don't like Lil Nas X.
But I'm saying why. I just don't think that he's talented. And one of the dead giveaways with that goes back to what you just said, YB. Having to spend all that money on expensive videos, 100,000 dancers, wardrobe, and making everything else look good, because all of that is a overcompensation of not having any genuine substance. The fact that hell, most of his dance cue was blurred out because the choreographer intentionally had the motherfuckers pretty much hold his ass in that circle away from camera view so that the focus could be on the motherfuckers who could actually move and dance and shuck and jive across that damn stage, and not Lil Nas X was like a key for me. But I
Come
like,
on, Conscious. You have to give it to the young man. You have to give it to the young man.
Yes, I do give it to him. He's a troll. Yes, I give him that.
Okay, wait. Okay, let me say this, because here's the thing. Like, even when it comes down to people that I feel like, you know, shouldn't be in the industry, first off, my opinion does not matter because my black ass is right on the outside. And being a viewer like everybody else. But let me say this, is that typically when it comes to artists that I'm not a fan of, or, you know, I just don't like, or whatever, or I just don't feel, quote unquote, as talented in my eyes, it's just the whole thing of, I don't care. I'm just happy that they're doing something else than out here stealing, killing, or doing whatever. So as long as he ain't doing all the other stuff, then hey, let him do him. If I'm not a fan of him, hey, it is what it is. That's how I feel about it.
I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm a Lil Nas X stan fan or anything. I don't listen to his music like that. Only when he releases certain things. But I have to give flowers in a certain way because, like, if they're not gonna, okay, let's just keep it real. They're not gonna let certain people in the door, right? Because obviously there's been many queer artists that are probably way better than him, right? But like Conscious said, he fits a certain type of package. But the fact that he's coming through and he is beating down, literally, he's not waiting, he's not doing shit. Within the first 3 years of his career, he is beating down the fucking door, making noise for us. So I get that there may be underhanded certain situations and he may be handpicked to be put in certain places, but I do sense that there's a lot of rebelliousness in him, and he's not doing it because of anyone's approval. I feel like he's doing it because he's like, girl, I'm gonna come. If I'm gonna come through, I'm gonna come, bitch.
No, YB, he's doing it because he's fucked up. But before we get more into that,
hello, hey, how y'all doing?
Hey, how you
I had
doing?
to come on,
How you
honey.
doing?
You know I had to come on.
Yes,
Y'all,
now hold on.
Now,
I'm gonna let y'all know this before we get started. We do have like a few things to move through, so I don't want us to get stuck in this because there's some other things I want us to touch on, especially while we all here for sure. So if y'all down for traveling with me in this commentary a little bit, I would definitely love y'all to stick around. If y'all okay with that, Monica and
I'll do my best. And I'm gonna have to get ready for work soon.
Y'all talk about the BET Awards.
Yes, we're talking about BET Awards right now.
Oh, that grind my gears, child. Let me tell you, I watched this video with Kwame Brown responding. That video pissed me the fuck off.
Really?
Black folks are some ignorant motherfuckers. Black folks get on my goddamn nerve with this shit. What is y'all mad about this man kissing on stage for? You already had Madonna and this other lady kissing on the BET Awards years ago, or however long it was ago. Ain't nobody
on the Video Music Awards. It was Madonna and Britney.
Oh, Madonna and Britney. But y'all mad about this, and they want to talk about these kids watching. First of all, bitch, why the hell your kids watching the BET Awards? Shouldn't they be somewhere watching them Cartoon Network shows? Outdated.
SpongeBob.
Shouldn't they be watching Cartoon Network or Coco Melon? Like, what the hell? He even responded saying that the kids ain't his problem. Why the fuck they ain't watching Coco Melon? And I'm glad he did.
Use them ugly ass.
Right.
They always
like, ain't nobody fucked up about them damn kids. Like, it really pisses me the fuck off. Ain't nobody fucked up about them damn kids. Those are your kids. They are your responsibility. Ain't nobody we ain't finna compromise how we live our life for you and your kids. Your kids are your responsibility. They are your mistakes in life.
Yes, because the BET Awards is a adult themed show. So I don't know why we always take these spaces that children are not even supposed to be in, and they be like, what about the children? What do you mean the children are supposed to be at bed? They're supposed to be in their books. They're supposed to be, like you said, on Cartoon Network, watching SpongeBob, Barney and Friends. What do you mean? What about the kids? Why are the kids even here to begin with?
Where are the advocates for Cardi B, and where's CPS at? Because didn't she drop it low, honey, while damn near 6 months pregnant, girl?
Megan Thee Stallion. Oh, Megan Thee Stallion. Not too much of my, by the way.
Didn't Rowdy Rich? A lot of these boys had pussy popping. I saw camel toes, bitch. I saw camel toes, girl. They were popping pussy all throughout that fucking thing. Come on now, let's be real.
Okay, but hold up. Because I'm about to go on a small little rant for a second. Because I'm so sick and tired of people talking about these motherfucking kids. they keep using these
Fuck these kids.
Exactly. Fuck them. Ain't nobody fucked up about them damn kids.
Like,
Shit.
honestly, I'm so sick and tired of people using this whole thing about kids. Let's be very clear. Everything in the world is not meant for kids. There's porn out here in this world, but guess what? It's not meant for kids.
It ain't like them kids don't already know this shit any damn way.
Kids are not fully like people don't have to realize this world does not fully quote unquote navigate and run around just children. There's multiple people in this world. So this whole thing of people saying, "Oh, the kids." I find it's very funny that they only talk about the kids as a way to invalidate us. But however, when they only seem to be quote unquote pro-life and pro-children when the child is straight and cisgender. But yet, when that child is anything else, as in black or gay or whatever, then all of a sudden they homeless. All of a sudden you beating them like I don't know what.
I got that from reading Rainbow. He said it first.
My nerves.
I'm just saying.
Let me say something real quick about the kid situation, and I'm gonna do a rant myself. What about nine times out of 10, the same people that are saying the children? What about the children when they got to sit across from the Thanksgiving table from that uncle that molested them, but you sit in silence? What about the children that say "fuck you, mom and dad" and that are hooligans running the goddamn streets? Who's to blame for that? What about the children when they're out here doing God knows what? What about the children? Because let's be honest here, most of these parents in the past 2 generations, that's why we got slow decline in high school diplomas right now. That's why we got slow decline in children getting higher learning educations and things of that nature. Because a lot of these kids, those same parents, they're raising their kids in toxic ass fucking environments. Shout out to Tyler from Georgia. Those toxic ass bitches. So what about the children? Because let me be honest with you, some of these damn kids are better off by themselves.
Every time they bring up these kids, it pisses me off. Let me go on my little rant now. Every time they bring up the kids, it pisses me off. These kids already know this shit. They already know what sex is. They watching porn. They already know what this stuff is. So if you don't know what
they get it from their parents. How many times Lil Newt got to walk in on his mama getting slayed by 7 niggas?
You know.
Oh my God, Jesus.
Hello. Knick-knack, paddywhack. Give that whole snack back.
So right before we move on, it's gonna be short. But I would like to say,
or whoever they fucking talking to. I'm so sick and tired of y'all bringing up these damn kids. But you got kids being abused, shot dead in the damn streets. They getting sexually abused and mistreated, and y'all don't do shit. They getting bullied to death. They commit suicide, and none of y'all motherfuckers come out the woodworks and say nothing. But you care about kids when it come to TV. Like all this other shit that's going on with these damn kids. And this is what you niggas is worried about. This is what pisses me off for black folks. And they always want to talk about where they pushing it on our sons. Your son, bitch, fuck your damn son.
Oh my God.
Your son ain't my damn responsibility. I don't give a damn about y'all fucking sons. Fuck your son.
And in the words of that Trick Daddy song, what about the children that ran away and they coming home today?
Talking about our boys. Those are your boys. That ain't mine. I ain't got no kids yet. And when I do have them the only kids I'm gonna be responsible for, not y'all fucking kids. Your badass kids is your responsibility, not ours. We are not gonna compromise what we do for you and your damn kids. All right. I just want these niggas to know that, because black folks get on my everlasting nerve. They so goddamn ignorant.
I definitely agree that we cannot act like the world is centered around children. Grown folk live in this world. Grown folk exist in this world. Grown folk want to see grown folk content and want to hear grown folk music, and therefore grown folks have to have creative license to also create spaces and do things that are appropriate for grown folk. Where children's spaces are is where their spaces are. Where our spaces are is where our spaces are. But we do have to move along because I don't want to be here forever, y'all. So
last thing.
Okay, go ahead.
The last thing is that whole thing about Cardi B. Please, you guys, please tread lightly on my bitch. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Oh my God. You know what? So I have a question, but I want to say this before I ask my question about just going back to this whole like Lil Nas X thing. He's not talented to me, and I feel like if B.E.T. really wanted to put a actual artist up on stage and somebody who's good at what they do, why not have invited Todrick Hall? Todrick Hall makes dope music, makes very much so affirming. See, Lil Nas X pulls the stunts. Like, he uses, like, he don't even use to pronounce him and her in music a lot of times. He sings in generally, like Todrick Hall literally puts the, like, if you like Living Hodrick puts it out there. Like, he literally has a song called Fag, and it's such a interesting sarcastic play off of the word fag, how he turned it into a like empowerment. Like, that's who I
fierce and gorgeous over time.
On
fierce
the
and
stage,
gorgeous,
huh?
Gorgeous, fierce and gorgeous over
Fierce
time.
and gorgeous and proud and black and talented and can do the shit. Like, Todrick Hall actually has talent. He writes, he produces, he dances, his stage presence is sickening, his albums are successful, the boy is popping. He should have been the Lil Nas X of the Lil Nas X rather than Lil Nas, in my personal opinion. But to this question, because we do got to get back to Lil Nas X before we move into some other dynamics. JC said that BET was owned by a black guy named Bob Johnson. He sold it to the folks that owns MTV about 10 years ago. He should have sold it to Magic Johnson, Bill Cosby, Tyler Perry, and Oprah Winfrey as a group. Very briefly, I want to go down the line and ask y'all, who do y'all feel could have did BET, the network, justice if it was in their hands? And I'm going to start with you, Reckless. Like, who do you think could have made BET really pop off?
At this point, because I was gonna say, it's between, because I don't know about Magic Johnson, but I would say Oprah. Now, the only thing with Tyler is that I don't know if he'd be able to fully. I think he'll be able to get it popping, but it's all about the representation of queer people fully without catching any slack. Because the only time, quote unquote, we get quote unquote representation in the Tyler Perry movie is when it's about comedy, which is the reason why he's able to dress up as Medea and not get slack. It's the reason why Quay is able to be on the plays and stuff without catching slack. So I would say Oprah, honestly, because then she just don't give a fuck. That's just me just taking an educated guess. I could be wrong.
Okay, hold on that thought real quick. I need to see who this is real quick. LL.
Hey.
Hi.
How are you?
Okay, this is you. I had to make sure it's you, girl. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good.
I wasn't intending all of the damn crew to hit the link, but y'all all here, so I ain't mad. I ain't mad at it.
Hey, you put up a very interesting post, especially when it was mentioning the Cardi B situation. I'm like, I need people to look a little bit more into the receipts Cardi dropped now.
About what? Like, what happened?
Well, you know. Okay, so on Sunday, before she announced her pregnancy, some girl named Jessica Wu, who signed to her old manager, said that Cardi was intentionally released with the abject, I guess, purpose of taking down Nicki. And so a lot of people ran with this. And so Cardi had to confront a lot of people, and she posted the receipts to a few bloggers, and she aired the girl out because it's like the girl reached out to her in the first place to mention like she wanted to get out of under the same old management Cardi used to be under. And like she was just trying to do something for clout. And it turns out to be a case because Cardi dropped all the old DMs where the girl was like, I'm under your old manager and he's doing me dirty or whatever. And, I know you had the same issue and stuff. So how does it go from that to she was released, Cardi's whole career was released to take down Nicki? When at the time, the person she was with and this is the management that she was with before she was signed to Atlantic, they were just running New York stuff. Like the most this dude could do for her was to put her on Love and Hip Hop. And then her career took off from there. So how was she planted to take down Nicki?
Wow.
But a lot of people were attacking this girl as she just announced her pregnancy, talking about she trash and all this stuff off the words of somebody who really don't know Cardi.
But you know what, LL? That reminds me a lot of the Star Marie situation where we had another clout chaser who ran with, this whole storyline that caused all this fucking debauchery. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. I feel like Cardi B, and this is not even a Cardi B panel, but I feel like Cardi B attracts like a lot of the bullshit because she gives a fuck and she reacts so much, and it makes people who are already trolls interested in targeting her as it relates to trolling because they know she's so easily reactive. They know that whatever scheme they put in place is going to get her attention. It's going to become a big old thing. And if she would fucking fall back and just like let it all happen, just focus on your career. Focus on your career. Focus on your ass shaking. Focus on keeping Offset dick in your pussy, and just stop minding the business of trolls and all the shit that's going to always be a part of your career. Because once again, I would not have believed it was possible to not give a fuck if Beyonce didn't exist. But because Beyonce did exist, I'm like, you know what? We got options, baby.
Wait. What situation we talking about? Because like, look, Beyonce gave that energy, but she cared though. She made a whole album show. She
made a whole album, and also she be sneaking.
But that's my whole thing, though. Like, but that's the way. But that's how you do it. You put it in your capital. You put it in where you make your money. She's not out here frolicking with social media or with the viewing audience. She's putting herself behind the wheel and putting it into her music and addressing it in a way that's productive and that reproduces something that also makes her better, which is I'm getting this off my chest and I get to fucking get my click and a view and make my money all at the same time. Cardi B is just taking time out of her life.
Well, let me say this about Cardi.
Because as the party gang, I'm not gonna let you get away with that. Okay. First things first, Cardi B, she does address it in her music. But however, a lot of people don't be
She does it all. That's the problem.
Wait. But as of lately, I will say, especially when it comes to Twitter, she has not really been addressing anything. But I feel like with this situation is the fact of the matter is that Jessie Woo is known and she has an influence. And plus, on top of that, people was running with that story, especially since the whole Nicki and Cardi thing kind of went kind of like, you know, the whole little hype or whatever kind of went down. So it's the fact that a bitch, especially since I've been talking to you, we've been communicating, you know, you was telling me about your story. I was like, you know, kind of hearing you out and stuff. And then you go and do that type of stuff. And then keep in mind, when all of that happened, she released a song. Girl.
I'll do you one better. This is why I think she cares so much. This girl is this is a bit personal because Cardi was suing that old management when this girl first started contacting her. So it's like, girl, I need you to tell me your story and your dealings because this could help me in my case and me get out from under him and not lose all of my bag. Because old boy was trying to take everything from Cardi. So it's like, when it comes to certain people, like Star Marie, who claim to, you know, be Cardi's old best friend and roommate and stuff, it's like, that's a bit different. That's like me, if I blow up or whatever, I got somebody who was my roommate like in college or something, coming out and spreading lies on my name, like I am gonna feel a bit away because we lived together. You know, you knew me before I got big, or you knew people close to me. And to an extent, Jessica Wu knew a lot of Cardi's old team, like the person who used to be her old road manager and stuff, for when she was booking clubs and stuff. So it's like that she was thinking in her mind, okay, has she really talked to my old team? Let me go back and hit all these old people up, make sure that whatever she's saying, this ain't something she just making up. Let me see if people have actually corroborated her story, and this is what they told her. And then she found out all them old people was like, nah, we ain't tell her that. She's making this up. She's doing this for clout. So to be honest, I feel like Cardi B was doing her own investigation because there are people from her past, as we have seen, that are real quick to throw dirt on her.
No, like
I don't do her due diligence on that.
I completely understand the personal investigation, vetting the information. What I don't understand is bringing everything to the court of public, like to the court of public opinion, because she's trying to sway and appeal to a demographic that's going to believe what the fuck they want to believe. In Cardi B's mind, she still actually believes that people are interested in the truth. And I'm still sad for her that she's going to insist upon always speaking to every fucking thing that gets stated because she's running after the idea that the people I'm giving the receipts to and the public that I'm trying to convince are actually interested in the left or the right more so than they're interested in the fucking mess. And if you have a lawsuit going on, do your investigation, vet the fucking situation, win your case, and then go do an interview and put every hoe who thought differently of you on blast with the verdict. Like, what's the
Can I say something
don't
to that?
understand
But
the
I
actual
feel,
purpose
but
of
Conscious, I feel a little
constantly.
bit different like this. I think she's learning from what happened with Star Marie. Star Marie went to that one blogger that we all know very well that blew that girl from having only tens of thousands of followers to millions, and that became a big situation. She's trying to prevent that from happening. I think old girl is just learning from the past, because literally one blogger really blew up off that Cardi B situation. They're still in court off that.
I think she's learning from it all, but I want to say this. I think when it comes to Cardi B, and this is no offense to her, because I think she's obvious, you can't get where you're at without being some type of intelligent or blessed. Amen. But I want to say this to her point. I don't even think it's all that deep, because I don't think she's thinking that deep. And this relates to the whole Beyonce comparison. Beyonce came up at a time where social media hadn't taken over the world yet. Cardi B made her lifestyle and her things manifest for herself based off of her social media presence. People fell in love with that person. And I think what we're seeing with her being I just think she's just being the transparent Cardi that people grew to love. Mm-hmm. I don't even think she's thinking that deep to be like, oh, I'm trying to be strategic on how I handle certain stuff and trying to put my business out there. I think that she's just putting her business out there because that's what people know her for. She's an open book.
Yeah, but that's not going. But as she can see, she doesn't benefit from being an open book about the shit she chooses to be an open book from.
But she doesn't see it that way.
This girl actually like she can't, and then she can't even handle being like a bad bitch in that way, like, because she actually gives a fuck. Like, this girl won.
I think over time that'll change.
This girl won a whole entire Grammy and then literally jumped online within 2 hours of winning that Grammy to fight with bitches on Twitter and Instagram and social media about her not deserving her Grammy. And I'm just like, see, like, that's too much of your psyche. That's like, it's not that deep. I want Cardi B to admit that to herself. It's not so deep that you can actually go on with your life, because even trying to avoid people going to big bloggers, the blogger that we're talking about who ran the Star Marie story also has said she don't even give a fuck about whether shit is true or not. So there are bloggers.
This is very true. You're right.
There are bloggers in the world who accept that their job is to just use your life and to use whatever surrounds your life for their gain. And Cardi B is going to have to like just understand that's the way the paparazzi of Hollywood, that's the way the tabloid system of entertainment works. The system predates Cardi B. You would think actually, because she's been on social media for so long, that there would have been a mastery and she would have already learned like her dynamics with social media now and understood what's real and what's not real and what's worth and what's not worth. But shit, she just as new to fucking social media as any 16-year-old with a Twitter account right now. It's new to social media.
But but here's the thing. Once again, it still stands. Is that it's like 1,000 other things that she hasn't responded to. It was just this one thing, and that's the thing that I'm trying to get people to understand. Was just this one thing. I think it's because of who she really was.
No.
Let me say this.
No. And then we're gonna move on because I don't want to keep talking about Cardi B.
We're gonna be talking about Lil Nas X. Okay, but before we get into that, before we get into that, the whole thing is that this whole comparison of Beyonce and Cardi B. At the end of the day, let's stop trying to do the comparison, because you wouldn't call Cardi B the same queen that we would call Beyonce. So let's start with the comparison and keep in mind.
Who's comparing? Hold on. Who's comparing her to what? And what capacity? Hold on. No, you wait. Who was being compared to her? Like in what capacity?
No, because whenever it comes to the whole Beyonce would never do a Beyonce, because they do it to a lot of artists. I'm like, well, Beyonce's not Cardi B, Cardi B's not Beyonce, or Nicki's not Beyonce, Beyonce not Cardi B. Like, that's the whole thing about it. So they keep talking about this whole thing of she didn't react to this, didn't react to that. Yes, I do agree. But you got to keep in mind, too, Beyonce also came into an industry where they taught you how to do other things that be able to put you through training and all those other types of things as well. They don't really have any of that.
Cardi B has went through.
She's very hormonal as well.
She has went through the same media training. Cardi B don't give a fuck.
Absolutely not. Absolutely conscious. I love you to death, but absolutely not. It's different from people who've been trained up and taught etiquette and stuff via like what Chloe and Halle have gone through. That's what Beyonce went through.
Like
that's
Brandy,
like
Monica.
Okay, so who? No.
It's totally different
I'm gonna tell y'all why that's a load of shit, because there are big labels and corporations and sponsors who are behind Cardi B's existence. You have to know that because Cardi B is a business, that on the back end, they are certainly constantly calling this girl's phone, constantly on Cardi B's ass, telling her to shut the fuck up, to fall the fuck back, because you got other people's jobs on the line as a entity.
But conscious, that's not the same as someone who was trained up in the system. Cardi B's success came from her and her music without label support when she was independent. You can't comment and then say, I'm going to take you to the next level when Cardi B already had 2 number ones off some mixtapes. Now, I give her flowers about that because she did that, and she would not have been able to do that if it was not for the power of social media. So there are labels who have that. Labels are trying to do, the training and all that stuff. That ain't worked for Cardi. It ain't worked for a lot of artists. That's why we seen so many of these fools getting arrested for stuff that you would have never seen, like Destiny's Child arrested for, or being brought in the media for. It's because of the way they came into the game. And
I'm not. I can't give Cardi B that. Too many other artists other than Cardi B know how to go on about their fucking life. Beyonce isn't the only artist who does not get caught up in paparazzi tabloid shit, but she's just the most obvious explicit example of a artist, of a celebrity.
She's a hood
who does
girl.
not bother with the bullshit. But
she's a hood
the only
girl,
one fully in this house.
But you know what? Let's look at it like this. I think there's a different.
Do that. We're not going to. I'm sorry. We're not going to do that because Beyonce kicked people out of groups. Beyonce apparently was.
That has nothing to do. That's not nothing to do with. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about regarding Cardi B constantly entertaining social media about nothing.
No, that's the thing, and my thing keeps standing. That was just she hasn't responded for a long time, so it was like that one.
Don't respond at all. Like, go on. If you're suing these folk, girl, go sue them. Go get your verdict. Go talk about it in Vogue and talk about how you got your roses, and then let that be your receipt in your narrative, and then go be great and win more music and go perform with triplets and shit in your stomach and go because bitch, you're winning. Like, you're winning too much to be miserable. I think that's the part that like gaslights the fuck out of me, is when people who have all the privilege in the fucking world to be where nobody else gets to be, and then decides to be miserable and angry as hell. Like, there are other artists who don't even have Cardi B's access, who don't even have her fucking resources, who are more fucking mature and probably even more deserving than she even is of where she is, who also not complaining about their names being dragged, are not complaining about all the fucking opportunities they don't have. And here it is, we have a bitch who has the world in the palm of her hands, constantly upset, constantly mad, constantly pissed, constantly fucking fighting. And that shit is what privilege, that is what whiny ass privilege looks like. And it's disgusting. It's not disgusting to other privileged ass people, because privileged folks get their fucking wine on. But girl, to me as a non-privileged bitch, I am annoyed and completely gaslit at the fuckery and the foolishness of it all.
Conscious, once again, if you were saying this some months ago, then yes, I would agree. But she has not been
responding. Months. She has a pattern of doing this. If she was on such a great path, straight and narrow, stay on the straight and narrow.
They don't have the same have issues. Like, that's the thing.
Just you trying to pacify this grown ass fucking woman who out here. You trying reckless. Reckless. You trying to pacify a grown ass fucking woman who out here catching cases behind a nigga who don't want her. She out here got bottles being thrown at fucking bartenders as a grown ass fucking woman acting like a straight up fucking leading and riding around
She's
in them
acting like
fucking
she
guineas and
always
gated
been
fucking
acting. I
communities
don't
as a
understand
privileged
Conscious.
control motherfucker. Like, if your life is that fucking difficult and miserable, sit the fuck down. Stop being a fucking artist. Nobody has a gun to Cardi B's fucking head, making her rap, making her perform, making her do anything. If it's that fucking upsetting to be a goddamn celebrity, don't not be a fucking celebrity.
But Conscious, help me understand. Like, we're talking about privilege and all that. She only thing to me that she does is like she's just being herself. Because at the end of the day, if we compare, like if we were like, let's say back in the 90s, Mary J. Blige did that same shit over KC. She was beating people down in the clubs and stuff. Mary was that hood girl for real. But nobody dragged her for that. Like, they protected her. Like, look, it's social media.
Do
Everybody
y'all
know everything
understand though?
you're
Cardi
doing.
B also wasn't sitting across from Joe Biden. Cardi B is too much of a hypocrite. She's trying, like, her, whatever her reality is, she needs to deal with it, because she's not also committed and completely branding herself as some ratchet ass bitch. She's on one end trying to be innovative and progressive and political and confront and like.
Who said we can't be both?
I don't give a fuck what who say it is. I'm saying that, bitch. Why you out here losing your whole mind and catching cases behind nothing? Like, it was more intelligent for you to get bitches beat up over bitches your niggas still fucking and put your livelihood and your career that you worked for.
Conscious. She's not the only one who does that. She is not the only one who does that in this current music industry.
It's one out to
wait.
The public service announcement then goes out to all the Cardi B's of the world, because
let's not even give them the name Cardi B's, because if we gonna go tit for tat, if we're gonna speak on that like that, you know who else we gotta speak on?
Who?
In that same breath.
Who?
Everybody tell me don't do it, but you know exactly what I'm saying though.
Who?
Because ever since she married that man, she done ruined her career. She done sat up here and got all these blogs and
Who?
She talking about Queen of Rap.
Little Kim? Oh, Nikki.
Talking about Nikki. Yes. But okay. First off, we didn't got so far off.
Oh yeah, we did.
The
passions.
I don't even like talking about Cardi B because I am done with Cardi B. I'm done with Cardi B. I like her music, but the rest of that shit, I don't give a fuck about. If she wants to, if she's not gonna stress me out with the lifestyle that's stressing her out, because I'm becoming stressed out that she's fucking stressed out, and I need to preserve my energy and reclaim all my motherfucking time. So she would not be taking up my energetic space for 20.
You know what else happens?
Goddamn one.
You want to know what else happens? You would do what I do. When I see something like that, I just keep scrolling. That's all I do. Honestly.
Girl, you hit him with the bless
scroll
your heart
through, honey. Okay.
Hit him with the bless your heart.
Well, I'm gonna use the restroom.
Because we can come back and do a whole separate goddamn show about these motherfuckers, but I'm almost.
Or I would like to do a separate show. I mean, not just putting this idea out there, but I want to know why it's always that whenever female rappers come into the game, they're always pitted against each other. They're always given these labels, and they're never allowed to really change from that direction. Like, why is it that A&R and the music industry push girls to do certain things and to compete to be the queen of rap or this or start beef, when you got plenty of dudes who come in the game who ain't on that tip? Now, there are some who fit that mold, but a lot of dudes who come in who aren't on that tip. Like, why do we have these specific roles for female rap? Like, why?
We already know, but we can definitely get into that. I would come back and do a whole separate stream, and we can get into the Cardis and the Nickis and the sexism and patriarchy of hip hop and all of that shit that plays into the divisiveness of all that because it is a lot that goes on into that system. But just going back to the initial. So LL, you are here. What with B? So with us talking about the BET as a platform, as a network, in terms of its uselessness to the Black community, like, who do you feel, if they were to own or be able to have creative right over the network would be able to do the network some justice?
That's a hard discussion, actually. That's hard because when you see prolific Black people who have their own networks, best example being Oprah, they all sell out for cash. BET, and that too, because like BET coming into the game, you know, a lot of shows that have become staples, undeservedly, but have become staples in the Black community, like all the Black Ink Crews, Love and Hip Hops and stuff. They weren't necessarily going to be aired on VH1. That's not who those shows were shopped to. They were shopped to BET, and BET passed because of Devil Evil. And so I think we have to put in not just one person to run it, but people who are actually still in the community. Like, I need someone who's not famous to do this. I need someone who has a vision of what they think Black programming should be. And it should be someone who has an idea from those who are, you know, urban versus rural area, Black, biracial backgrounds, as well as most importantly for the trans and LGBTQ perspective. It needs to be someone that understands that Black people are not a monolith. We all don't like the same thing, nor do we eat fried chicken and watermelon. And we all don't listen to gangster rap all the time. And we like rock music, and we
Girl,
like
I'm actually eating watermelon, girl. I'm literally eating watermelon slices right now, girl.
Oh. Well, 1 out of 4 people on the panel is eating watermelon. These views do not apply to the Consciouztv panel, but you know,
right?
It's just, I think they spend a lot of time trying to cater to the masses, but on the back end.
But there has to be somebody who you enjoy as a writer, as a producer, as just anybody who you feel like if they had access to something like this would probably would be able to you know, give you what you need.
Okay. So to me, for like the reality front, they've done the right thing because they already got Carlos King over there. And Carlos King is somebody who, you know, for better or worse, when it comes to reality TV, he make moments because everybody I know, everybody named Mama are talking about BET presents the encore. Like everybody's talking about it. And you know, when people used to really watch our Real Housewives of Atlanta, especially from like season 6 through 9, that was him. The whole Phaedra Parks line and that big 4-part blow up, the memes, the lies, baby, that was him. He put them in the position to do that. That was his hand in it. His hand in the cookie jar. On OWN right now, everybody watches Love and Marriage Huntsville. Huntsville is the smallest freaking city / town you ever want to meet. And look at the drama that's there.
Okay.
And he was able to cultivate that. Now, on the scripted end of it, I would want the team who produced Pose to make TV. Not only just for LGBTQ, but for a lot of people. Because to me, Pose was one of the best shows in recent times that spoke to being a person of color. I'm not trans, but I could enjoy watching the show and understand how my struggle can relate to them. It's not the exact same, but I could see the similarities. And it was just a very well-written show. Like, even them rushing through this last season, as messed up as they did, it was still reasonable and really good story writing.
I'm not gonna lie, I 100% agree with your statement, like a lot. And also, too, I'm about to say, what about the writers of P-Valley? Because that was
absolutely that was gonna be my other show too. If you want to get that down and dirty South feel, that was P-Valley.
And it had the budget. And it had the budget from Tyler Perry and Oprah. There we go. They got that money flowing through.
P-Valley was good. You know, I don't have a problem with Lena, but her shows for like The Shy and the 20-something on BT, those are good too. She's a little problematic. You know, I wish her work wasn't so together with her personal issues, but she makes good television too. And they've already brought her on. They just need to give her free reign, because that's my issue with BET. They like to come in and dip their hands in and control narratives and control how certain shows go. But you need to let these people who've shown you and who's had success with other networks come in and do what they're going to do. Give them the free reins to move.
Okay.
They're going to get your coin. They're going to get your money. People, I mean, the best example is Pose. Pose, honestly, I didn't think it was gonna make it past season 1, but it opened the eyes of so many people, and it was on FX, a Ryan Murphy production, and it did this. And to be honest, I think if Ryan Murphy wasn't moving on from FX and moving to Netflix with all his new deals, and there wasn't such strife between him and the show producers and the showrunners, shout out to Stephen Canal, his amazing writing, amazing production. If there were not those behind the scene issues, I think Pose would still be going. But I feel like Ryan's trying to cut things, and he's trying to, move on to greener pastures, just like Shonda Rhimes is. Shonda Rhimes is another woman. I don't think I don't know if BET would be willing to play ball with her though, because I don't think BET would have gone for something like Bridgerton. As if Black people don't like historical dramas, because guess what? We weren't always slaves in these stories. That's just us looking within the United States perspective. There are a plethora of diaspora all over the world. African Americans aren't the only ones. We got people who lived in the UK, Australia, who have stories that need to be told as well. We have Afro-Canadians who ancestors came from the US and made it to Canada, started their own cultures, started their own cities, and became profitable. I want to hear about that too.
Absolutely.
I want our history to always be about slavery.
I agree. And we literally have a lot of stuff to go through, you guys, not a lot of stuff, but we got things we definitely got to move through. But I agree with you, LL, and being you fan, we really need Black superheroes. So all of it. It's so much missing, but it's low-hanging fruit. Sticking to the Thug, Menace to Society movies and the Mad Black Woman and the slave movies, it's low-hanging fruit. It's just the most obvious thing to default to artistically. And it's just a lack of creativity. I don't know whether the creators just aren't that cultured or they lack experience themselves.
Can I speak to that real quick?
Yes, I wanted to get to you too and just ask you, like, who do you think BET, whose hands do you think would whose hands do you want BET to be in? Hell,
I really feel like the Patrick Ian Polks of the world, the Shonda Rhimes of the world, you have a lot of great Black writers and a lot of Black directors and people who have a long history. So, their money is long time. So I feel like just like how Jay-Z did with Tidal, even with Rock Nation, you have about 10 people who have ownership. And I feel like if we can bring, like LL was saying, bring in multiple people to serve different genres, because you have great people. Spike Lee, you have, the Lena Waithe of the world, you have Ryan Coogler, you know what I'm saying? You have a lot of people that are doing great things in the Black writing space. So why don't we just go ahead and then that's another thing too, over the years, why haven't no one thought about it? Let's all put our money in this pot and we all have a stake in this and we all are our bosses and we run this shit.
Who's to say they haven't, sir? Because I feel like, going back to what Conjure said, sorry to interrupt you, the whole slavery gangster movies, baby, that's not for Black people. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't feel like that's for us.
I get it, but that's something I didn't want to point out.
White dollar, because that's what the white people want to see us as.
And I get that part. And I get that part. But one thing, speaking to you and what Conjure was saying earlier about, yes, we are tired of the whole slave and gangster movies, but I think a lot of those writers, especially in the 90s, the 80s and the 90s, that was a representation of what life was like. That was their life imitating in art situations like that. So I'm not mad at that. I do feel like, yes, it gets a little repetitive, but I can't get mad at it at the same time, because that's a representation of what some people experience. I know I've experienced it. I know a lot of people that I grew up with experienced that life. So to see movies like that being nominated for Oscars or just being in the limelight, making $100 to $500 million in the box office, I celebrate those moments, because all these people had an opportunity to see what that struggle is like Boys in the Hood and things like those were, and Menace to Society we just talked about. Like that's some of the experiences I've seen.
Yeah,
that's true.
I agree. I would say that for me, like, these people are fairly new, but I just fucking love them, and I love everything that they fucking do, from the podcast to what they do on YouTube. I just think that they, like, the music choices they have for the show. Like, I want Ashley Acuna and Donovan from The Grapevine, who actually is the host of The Grapevine, as well as she's a producer, and Donovan is an executive producer of The Grapevine. And I think that if they had the resources and had a network like BET where they can throw so much shit into the pot, like music, sitcoms, movies, shows, like documentaries, like I feel like they are well-rounded. They are millennials. They are right in between that generation of kind of knowing both generations. They have that understanding, and I would love to see them be given the opportunity to like have access to that level of resource, because I think that they could produce a lot of very interesting and informational and entertaining.
You know what pissed me off?
The
fact that I'm sorry to interrupt you. And then you just made me think about this real quick. I'm sorry. It pissed me off to see now that the Mary J. Blige documentary was on Amazon instead of BET. Now that I'm thinking about it, that pisses me the whole fuck off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, BET missed so many opportunities. So many fucking opportunities have been missed. Like, these are all things that should have taken place on BET. P-Valley, the Mary J. Blige documentary. Like, these are all missed opportunities. All BET want to do is do fucking reruns all fucking day. So it's interesting. But let's move along. Back to the BET Awards. Megan Thee Stallion and Young Money had a kiss during the after show of the BET Awards ceremony. I want to pull it up and play it here because this is going to like get us into the heart and the meat and potatoes of the dialogue. Let me see here. Young Miami. Welcome to Miami, honey.
Oh, Young Miami. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said Young Money. I was like, oh, Lil Wayne was there kissing the girl.
No, Young Miami. The BET Awards. Okay, so this is from theshaderoom.com, and it reads, the BET Awards brought the celebrities out this weekend, and not only were the girlies dressed to the nines on the carpet, but they also turned things up a notch at the after party events. Megan Thee Stallion let y'all know how she feels about Young Miami back in April, and the two of them got a little spicy on camera Sunday night. Young Miami, JT, and Megan Thee Stallion put on a fire performance at the BET Awards, and the heat boiled over to the after party festivities with Meg and Miami. Now, y'all know both Meg and Miami are in relationships of their own, but the two had a kiss at the City Girls dinner on Sunday, and the internet is talking. I like how they spell internet, because I was like, what the fuck is that word? Here's the video. I'm not going to play it because it's probably going to be all delayed and shit. And let me, okay, so here it is. This is the part I want to get to. So there's a video of them tongue kissing, girl, that's swapping spit at an after show. And this is what I'm going to use as a catalyst to get into the Lil Nas X's of the world versus the Meg Thee Stallions and Young Miamis of the world. Let me see if this thing. Every time I share my screen, shit is delayed, honey. Delayed. Because if it ain't gonna work, I'm just gonna. So basically, I ain't even gonna fucking worry about it. So basically, Young Miami and Meg Thee Stallion have been flirting for quite some time. They've expressed affections toward each other. Megan has expressed wanting to date Young Miami. Young Miami has completely shown interest in that manifesting. As this article says, both women also happen to be in relationships to men. Now, they swapped you spit and had this kiss during the after show of the BET Awards while they were still in relationships to men who are to assume to be heterosexual. Here's my goddamn issue. Is this kiss being acceptable under patriarchy is just another prime example of how hypocritical and compartmentalized toxic masculinity is as it relates to homosexuality. Because it's, for the most part, quite okay to be a same gender loving woman. It's even almost quite okay to be a masculine, same gender loving woman. We've oftentimes, especially those of us who are queer, hell, everybody, straight and gay aside, have seen that the studs have been able to get in with the boys. They've been able to be +1s, wingmans. They've been allowed into men's spaces. They've been able to roll around in low-ride in Lincolns and Crown Vics just fine as open queer women. And toxic masculinity also supports same-sex attraction between women because patriarchy also loves women. So here it is. We have complete outrage over Lil Nas X swapping spit as an openly queer man. And here it is. We have very little petitions moving around the internet to protest Megan and Young Money, who not only are allowed to be openly queer Black women, but are also allowed to be polyamory, polygamy, and do the damn most. But Lil Nas X requires a Supreme Court hearing. And that's an interesting issue. So if there's anybody who wants to speak to the difference between the experiences that a lot of gay Black men have in the Black community versus the experiences that sometimes Black queer women have, because even with me growing up gay and Black, I always noticed in my own anecdotal experience, in my own personal life, that the lesbian women who I went to school with, who I went to college with, had it far more easier socially. Now, I will say this, I witnessed a lot of lesbian women have to be kind of bashed over the head with the Bible as far as the Black church is concerned, as far as being raised in Black households where religion was a big staple. But in terms of every other social space, every other communal space, clubs, bars, campuses, or just the world outside of the household, queer women, I always saw be able to be more fluid, to be more honest with themselves, and to be able to navigate those spaces outside of the household far easier and with far more acceptance from the community than I saw myself be able to, and my male queer peers. I guess just going in chronological order, Reckless Logic, like, what is your attitude toward the outrage over Black men's publicized kiss from the Madonnas and Britney Spears and the Megans and the Young Miamis? Like, there's never any conversation around a gay agenda when women are explicitly sexual, even with each other, around a gay agenda, but it only becomes a concern for the kids and what's perverted and not, and what's and this whole gay agenda and the emasculation when it comes to gay men doing anything as far as their orientation is concerned. Like, and you don't have to worry about trying to scoot all of your thought into, like, one bubble, because you're going to be able to jump back in 100 times as we get everybody's opinion. But what are your thoughts?
All right, so it's very hypocritical. It's something that's a norm. At least it's a norm where if you're queer, whatever, it's a normal thing. What I will say is very funny how the gay agenda, all those things get thrown in our faces, but yet when it comes down to women, or even just the exploration of their own sexuality, they don't get the same treatment, because in patriarchy, they like to use women. But since, girl on girl, typically in patriarchy, men usually see women as a benefit, because then they think it's a potential for them to have a threesome or also be a part of that. That's what I'm going to say for right now, because I'm going to be jumping in and out. Plus, I'm going to use the restroom real quick.
Okay, all right. Lauren, like, you're not part of the community, right?
I mean, I feel like I am, but either way, I've always seen that men get it worse. Like you can't, you just can't as a queer male in the Black community. This hyper masculinity community is not cool with that at all. As if our existence is is binary. Either you're manly or you're super feminine. As if we can't be on a spectrum. I feel like for some people, they're willing to accept, like masculine femininity or like lesbian because that's their homies and stuff. And some people are like, no, maybe I can even smash or I can turn her straight if I want, as if like people really have a choice like that. But I don't understand the threat.
Okay, so you do. So even you, your observations have afforded you to see the difference between Black gay men's social experience versus Black lesbian bisexual experience.
Exactly. It's like one object is prized, i.e., a bisexual woman or something, versus one is just treated with scorn, like a bisexual man, as if people don't exist on the spectrum. Like you don't fall in love with people, you fall in love with what's in their pants and stuff. And it just doesn't make sense. I don't understand why we constantly have to put people in a box and consider certain things. Because I'm sorry, newsflash, you can't catch homosexuality. You can't.
Newsflash.
That's not how this works. You seeing a man kiss another man, if you ain't gay, you're not gonna give a crap. It's not gonna affect you, boo. The only people who get affected are those who are still in the closet. So go on, kick open that thing and get out and live your life. Life's too short for this. And so it really bothers me. And people are like, what about the children? There was a whole 50 thousands of years of people growing up seeing heterosexual relationships every day, all day. And yet we still have people who are gay. Because no matter what you see, if that's not what you into, you're not going to be affected by it. It doesn't bother you. So I need people to stop being bothered by things like this. If it does not bother you, if it does not affect your daily life and doesn't mess with your check, what is it to you? Because this whole let's beat the gayness out of people makes absolutely no sense. People are people. There are feminist straight men. If you go outside of the US, there are a lot of things that people consider gay here that's just normal hetero culture for many people. Not even some, many people. It's just, I just think within the Black community, there's a hyper masculinity. That crap is toxic as crap, and there's such a huge double standard. And it's really just, I'm sick of it. Thank God for the new generation. Because they don't care.
Thank God, honey. Dying out with the older dying out in with the new. YB.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna say a few things and I have to ride out, but I feel like we have to understand that the West has always been the issue. Since the dawn of time, the West first it was Europe, because Lord knows those are the colonizing ass bitches. But in newer ages, the West has always been the problem. So when we look at places like Malaysia, when we look at Korea, China, Japan, Africa, the French people, Icelandic people, we can even go to Haiti, we can go to Jamaica, we can go to South America, where femininity is not a problem. It's actually something that's celebrated in a lot of ways. You have a lot of even heterosexual men who have a lot of feminine qualities, and they're not destroyed over that. Not at all. If we look at the Asian people, look at the Asian culture.
Hold on for 1 second, YB. I just want to make sure that this is Monica. Is that you, Monica?
Yeah, that's me, honey.
I'm okay. I'm just making sure. I'm okay, YB. Go ahead.
And it's always the West that tries to push people into their way of thinking. Beyonce was wrong, unfortunately. Girls do not run the world. Heterosexual white men run this world. And they are the ones that are putting in these policies and procedures and, how to be, how to dress. If you don't align with their way of thinking or with with the life that they want to bestow upon you, you are excommunicado. And the Black culture, whether we want to admit it or not, that's where we take our marching orders, whether it's just an inherent because of slavery. We don't realize that everything that we believe, everything that we have going on has been instilled in us by the white man.
But they can't use slavery as an excuse no more. Slavery happened hundreds of years ago. So niggas can't keep using it as an excuse.
I do want to that point, I always say this, we have to Google transgenerational trauma. Transgenerational trauma is something that is embedded in our DNA. We get it from our ancestors, which makes it's in our DNA, and it makes us more susceptible to a lot of the depressions and the mental illnesses of the world more than it is any other culture, any other race. So for us, it goes a lot deeper than just saying that we have to, okay, that was hundreds of years ago. I respect that, but it's innately in us. So we don't realize that because, again, we've been trained to just accept what is instead of just looking deeper, because we can't move forward if we don't root out the original problem. And the original problem is that we have to take away the fact that we don't need to no longer adopt the white way of thinking, the white man's way of thinking. We have to think for ourselves. And until we do that, we're going to always be at odds. We're going to always live in chaos. We're always going to be killing each other. We're always going to be judging each other. Because a lot of things that white people got going on in their communities, we don't do that. We do the complete opposite. White people accept a lot of their gay children. They accept a lot of the things that go on. Shit, they have whole fucking drug houses for just rich white people. But in the Black community, we don't get none of that stuff because we don't accept it. We don't observe it. We don't want to understand it. So when we look at mental illness, we say, oh, that's white people shit. That's why we don't seek out therapy. Well, that's why
I'm taking therapy now. So no. I'm in therapy, and it's not weak to get help. If you know you need help, go get it. It's not weak. You are,
That's the hyper, bullshit that we see in our community, though. Until we root that out, until we get not just this generation of Black people to understand that, but the older generations, because that was instilled in them as well, and they instilled it in us, and then we sometimes inherently instill it into our children. Look what they did to that boy Tyler. Perfect example. Them bitches probably raised in a toxic ass environment where being gay was a sign of weakness. They probably live in the hood. They in the hood, being openly gay and feminine will kill you.
I stay away from niggas. I don't like being around them. I don't like being around nobody. I'm an introvert. I don't like people. People get on my nerves.
If you're a child and that's how you're being raised, you ain't got no control over your environment.
I mean, I know that, but I'm just saying, for me personally.
Yeah, I feel you. When you get grown, you can do what you need to do to save yourself. Hopefully you have the know-how. Hopefully you have the free will and the independent mind frame to say, now I can get out of the old way of thinking that I was raised around it. But let's be honest, the percentage of people that actually wake up in time, they're not going to get it. Because that, again, we're sponges. We're soaking up all of this shit from our environment and we take it with us into our adulthood. The very small percentage of people are able to get away from that. The larger portion of those people, they don't get that luxury.
So
it's so heavily embedded in them.
What do y'all think about Black trans women like Monica, who has internalized so much homophobia and transphobia that it's created a very defensive posture against the Black community because of the level of emotional, spiritual, and physical violence and potential for violence, against her. What do you? Because we always talk about Black cisgendered women being on the bottom, but what's under Black cisgendered women under this society is Black trans women are actually at the bottom of all of that.
We in the damn ground.
All of that anti-Blackness, all of in the earth at this point. So when y'all hear a Black trans woman like Monica say, I don't fuck with the Black community, I don't do niggas, I gotta keep myself
I like light skinned mixed and white man.
You know what, Monica?
Honey.
This is not gender, damn it.
She trolling y'all.
Well, I mean, I totally get it, but to generalize, I think when you get out and experience different situations that look the same, but they don't feel the same.
But here's the
And to
thing,
the
I talk
point of
about
the
this
trans
all.
community is if they're gonna do us as gay men wrong, I heavily do expect trans women to also go through even worse shit than what I've been going through in my whole life. So I
Exactly,
think
and
that
I
if
say
the
this
world has
all.
to change.
I say this all the time. Like, it's hard for us. Like, we are expected to understand everybody else's trauma. Like you said, generational curses and the trauma from slavery. But it's like nobody wants to understand ours. People want us to understand why Black folks are homophobic and trans. Okay, but y'all don't want to understand why it's hard for us to understand that, because we have been traumatized by these same people. We
It's
need
the
to know our
West, because
trauma first.
trans women are celebrated in Korea, in Japan, in China, in Malay, all the places I named. Trans women are celebrated over there. What is that? Not Colombia. Cambodia. Like, trans women are celebrated. It's the Western, these white heterosexual men put in these fucking psychological bonds and weights on the Black community, every other culture
Exactly.
that came over here.
Let me tell you something. The Black community has been conditioned a certain way, which in turn they have conditioned us to think a certain way. It's like the Black community is traumatized. They have traumatized us, so we are traumatized within a traumatized community. You get what I'm saying?
Say something?
Yeah.
Okay. What I was gonna say is that it's very sad about everything that Monica has gone through and all those things. But I will say this. I will say it really irks me, especially when hoteps or whoever, when they try to have this conversation and stuff, and then the following words out of their mouth, which is something I told you about, Conscious. The following words always comes out their mouth is that you're with the LGBT community, you're not for the Black community, and it really irks me because
bitch, maybe sometimes I'm not. It's hard to be for a bunch of folks who think like
like
your very
it's the whole thing of situations like that from looking from the eye, it would be like, oh, she's not for the Black community, she have a defenses up. But the thing is that in these types of conversations, people try to control the dialogue. And the thing is that since they control the dialogue, it doesn't get past the surface level, so we can understand what actually happened, to actually have that real dialogue. Like, they want to say, yeah, the gays are this, the gays are that, the gays are this, but they never get to the point of understanding how we felt.
Exactly. Like, I get on here and I talk the way I talk, and I get on here and I can be defensive. There's a reason behind that. All the stuff I've gone, there's a reason behind that. I'm not just coming on here to be funny. The stuff I say, I really mean that, and it's because there's a reason behind why I come on here and I can cuss, I can go off. It's a reason behind that. It's
Amen.
trauma.
Amen.
And then that's what people are having a hard time to understand. And it's hard for me to talk to these hotep people because I'm traumatized, but they are also traumatized. And when two traumatized people get together, it's like, like that Dawa. I can't talk to that Dawa fool because I would be cussed him out.
Yeah, but like,
I have to ride out real quick, but I did want to leave y'all with this real quick. Celebrate yourselves. When people ain't celebrating you, celebrate yourself. Fuck everybody. The world moves slower than the gays are fabulous. The LGBT community is fabulous. They hate it. They hate that we're more progressive. And one thing that does suck is that we're so accepting of everything that the fuck shit that they do, but they can't learn to give us that same energy. You feel me? So, hopefully one day we'll see some type of real unity.
Thank you, YB. Thank you for joining us. I know you got to ride out, honey. And the girls are waiting on the continuation of Yes God Roundtable Season 3, honey. Oh, yeah.
You gonna put me on the spot like that, girl. You gonna do me like that. I'm working on it, baby. I'm working on it. We coming, y'all. We coming. I love y'all.
That we are going to reconvene, honey. Don't worry. We coming.
Yes, God. We coming. We coming.
All right, but I'm gonna call you tonight.
Okay, boo. Love all of y'all. Have a great blessed night, okay?
Love you too.
All right, bye.
So I was going to say to Monica's point about like speaking in anger. That's so interesting because I was on a platform the other day. Shout out to Olivia Speaks. She held a really profound panel.
I'm sorry. I got your message late, Conch.
DM
me on Instagram.
It's something.
I got that late.
Yeah, it's something. Well, actually, I'm gonna message you. I'll message you again because it's something coming up that
All right.
Someone asked me to ask you to be a part of. So I'm a message you after this too.
All right.
But she held a platform on her. She held a panel on her platform that was about Tariq Nasheed's documentary on buck breaking and the history of buck breaking. And I haven't seen the documentary yet, but within the documentary, from what I was told, Tariq Nasheed, I guess, tried to connect buck breaking to the current LGBT population of the country, etc. And so it was me, her, and three straight cis hetero men. Well, three cis hetero black men on the panel, and it was really epic. But one of the things that happened at one point in the dialogue is that when I began to include my emotions in what I was also speaking, there was a attempt to deflect, and it's something that I noticed a lot of when LGBT
all
folks.
three of them out.
Huh?
On me, I would have been and cussed all three of them out. I would have went off on them. So
see, and you know what? I had to learn how to curve that, especially as a commentator and as someone who oftentimes get asked to be a part of debates, because I realized that sometimes that's exactly what they're banking on you to do, so that they don't have to hear you, so that they can actually leave the panel, or so that they can then act like they're the victims in the situation because you're now the one going off, letting them have it after they've gaslit you, and then it becomes a whole shit show. And that's kind of what they be wanting to happen, so that we can dismiss the dialogue and the conversation altogether. So it took me time to really work my emotions around in a way where I can be in control and I can turn them on and off at command, rather than always kind of leading from them, because I realize that the people who I'm talking to are trying to weaponize my emotions against me, so that they can sabotage the conversation.
Where can I find this broadcast? I want to look at it.
I'm gonna send it to you on Instagram as well. I posted it in my community feed. It's on Olivia Speaks, Olivia the Oracle. She is a subscriber, and I'm a supporter of her platform and subscriber as well. And this panel kind of happened in the moment, but one of the things that happened is that when I began to speak, because a lot of times too, when people are speaking, a lot of people will mistake hostility for passion. I speak with a lot of passion, but never with hostility. But in conversations with heterosexual folk, a lot of times they want you to speak and so-called educate them, but at the same time they want you to keep your feelings out of it. But I think that that's also a misnomer, because people can't talk about their truth and their experiences without also connecting to the pain and the emotions that are attributed and attached to their lives, their observations, their experiences in this world. And it's important for not just queer people, but it's important for all marginalized folk, all people who have experienced pain, experienced trauma, experienced victimhood in families, or as a group, to be able to be heard, not only from the words they communicate, but from also the emotion they communicate those feelings to. Because see, when I turn up on you and I speak with passion, you also understand now how much what I'm saying means to me. You don't get to rationalize it away in your head because I'm speaking in a sterile, calm way and just communicating the emotion and appealing to your intellect. But also, you can't hear the scar in that unless I bring the emotion with it. You can't hear the oppression in that unless I also bring that feeling. And so we got to stop trying to tell people not to fucking be emotional.
Exactly.
When they're speaking and communicating
all the time. Not people have to show their emotions. It's not healthy for you to keep it bottled in. I hate these debates where everybody say, well, we just need to be civil and knowing you want to cuss somebody out, knowing that you want to cry, knowing that you want to get your passion out. That's what I feel like a debate is for. Everybody's supposed to get their passion out. Then when you get your passion out, you let people know how you really feel. You only can tell, people are only going to show you their real feelings either when they're angry or when they're drunk, especially with black folks. So when that energy comes out, the energy is going to come out and it's going to show people It's gonna show you how people really feel about you and how you really feel, and it's gonna show the real problem about what's going on. It's all gonna come out there.
But you know what I also find very interesting, because even when I be having my debates and stuff like that, they always hit me with the emotion thing too. And the thing that I find very, very, very weird, strange, and very manipulative is that they love to say keep your emotions out of it, da 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 da. But then yet when we start talking about race, all of that emotion that they talk about, especially from their personal experiences, always seems to be present. But yet when we start to change the narrative from race to sexuality, all of emotions supposed to be out of it, but forgetting that I'm actually sometimes unlocking my memories that I've probably stored away, which I don't think about on a daily, which probably give me trauma, which probably affects the way that I navigate through the world. And you want me to tell those certain stories. That's kind of like, telling a rape victim, you know what, you talk about this, but I don't want to see you cry or get emotional. What?
That's
that doesn't make
disrespectful as fuck.
And that's the type of logic, which is another reason why I call myself reckless logic, because the stuff like this is that they do that and then expect you to be okay with it. But I also realize too, with the thing that you just said, Conscious, sometimes they want to weaponize your emotions and stuff like that. So I've been aware of that. And it's crazy to me.
That's what we call gaslighting.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
People do it a lot.
And they do it at times where, like, it's the most important to actually be listening if we're here to come to common ground. And Lauren said something earlier about like the patriarchy and us talking about like the difference between like the lesbian experience and maybe like gay men's experience and trans women's experience are very different. But it's really because like lesbianism got lucky enough to be happening under a patriarchy that can rationalize a attraction to women, but patriarchy can't rationalize a attraction to men. So that patriarchy penalizes and persecutes men for being attracted to men and persecutes men who are biological but identify in every way as woman. And so trans women and gay men, particularly very effeminate, androgynous,
womanly
gay men often, gay men oftentimes get the brunt end of homophobia and transphobia, while lesbians get to kind of scoot around under the system. But this is something that I always want cis hetero women to be very mindful of, because we also have cis hetero women who also are homophobic and transphobic as well.
Here we go, because I was just gonna tap into that.
But what I want them to understand is that patriarchy, the reason for homophobia and transphobia actually has nothing to do with like
men.
Yeah, like the religion definitely has informed a lot of people, but really what's really there is like the toxic patriarchy of it all is really the underbelly, even for the way that religion gets weaponized against certain groups, etc., particularly in this case the LGBT community. And what that patriarchy is saying, even when straight women observe homophobia and transphobia, is what they have an issue with is not the homophobia. That's what it looks. I mean, it's not the homosexual or the trans identity. That's what it looks like. Mm-hmm. What it actually is toxic masculinity is overall at war with the divine feminine. That's even in biological, and that's represented as biological women. That's why biological Black women get disposed of, get the hell beat out of them, are subjected to high rates of sexual assault, molestation, sex trafficking, etc. Because the system does not like, or is anti-feminine, period. This is why
especially anti-Black.
This is why hold on. This is why the men in this patriarchy don't have a genuine value for women. Women are objectified within this patriarchy. Women are used as trophy pieces, as sexual objects. Women are seen as a as a means for their conquest sexually. This is why women are struggling under a patriarchy to have healthy relationships to men, because men, first of all, have not even been groomed under a patriarchy to have healthy relationships to women. Women have been groomed to have healthy relationships to men, but men have not been groomed to have healthy relationships to women. This is why they beat, this is why they cheat, and this is why when you cry your tears in their face, it does not move or convict them, because they have not been trained or nurtured or never been held accountable for not having a conscious that can respond to the expression of your conscious, of your emotional body, of your pain body. And so I really want straight Black women in this system who think that it's cute when they see discrimination against Black trans women, or it's cute
they always want
when
to
the discrimination against Black queer men happen, and they stand in support of that and nod their heads. And yes, I want you to understand the same shit you supporting is literally the same attitude that makes men behave in all the unruly, sick, painful ways they behave toward you and the woman.
Exactly. And they think that, and let me tell you something, Conch, they think having a thug is cute. I never got these Black women that say, I want a thug nigga, I want a hood nigga. I'm like, you know, they don't give a fuck about
I'm guilty of that.
You worried about a damn dick. That's all they gonna offer you is a damn dick. And then when they impregnate you with 5 bastard kids and run off like a little bitch, they gonna go to some other woman, and you gonna be sitting there looking stupid, all because you wanted a thugged out nigga. But the man who's actually sensitive, who actually treats you like the woman that you are and treats you like the queen that you are, you want to call them weak. But they the ones that's actually treating you right. They the ones that you can talk to about your problems. They the ones whose shoulder you can cry on, but you want to call them weak. They're the ones who are for you, not these damn toxic masculinity, thugged out, pants sagging to they damn hip ass niggas, tattoo all over their body, gold teeth head ass niggas. They ain't got your best interests at heart. You worried about all this aesthetical stuff. This is what pisses me off with women, Black women in particular. Y'all so worried about all this aesthetical shit. That don't matter. How people walk in your mannerism, that shit does not matter to me. I don't care how you carry yourself. As long as you are nice and you treat me right, that's all that matters. I ain't hell-bent on that masculinity shit. Like, it kills me. As long as you are, I don't care. I like feminine men too. Like, I ain't got no problem with that. It's the looks that matter to me. If you are attracted to me, that's all that matters. I ain't worried about that masculinity shit. If you attracted to me, that's all that matters.
A reckless logic, that Monica. If only we can teach this heathen on top of you.
Girl, you always trying to come for me, girl.
This nigga love him some toxic trade, honey.
That's another thing I don't get. What the fuck is with this trade mess? This is only in the Black community. Black folks piss me off. These down low niggas, they can really go to hell. They can really kill their damn self. I'm sick and tired of they motherfuckers. Because they bring these Black women all types of damn diseases. They come home. They don't even love these women. They put these women in, they are using these women to live their double life. They don't give a fuck about them. And even when they have kids with these women, they don't give a fuck about them damn kids. They ain't thinking about them kids either. You put this woman who thinks that you love her through this, and those kids, they stuck in the middle of this. And while you going out sneaking around fucking every punk you damn see, like.
But let's not forget that DL culture is a side effect of homophobia. So all them people that like to participate in homophobia, all them people that like to participate in patriarchy, all those type of things, toxic ways of whatever, that is a side effect of that. So yes, on one hand, you can get mad and say, you know, oh, the men, give me this, that. However, you can't contribute to a culture that reproduces the same culture that you're complaining about. And that's the reason why we continue to have these conversations. That's the reason why we keep trying to articulate and keep letting it be known that, you know, you may not know it or not, but you're directly, well, indirectly making DL culture a thing. The whole Tyler thing, like that, like possibly they could have made him quote unquote DL.
Exactly. Yeah, that is the root of it all. That is the root of it all.
But another thing I do want to touch up on, but I believe we talked about it, but I kind of want to wrestle back and forth. And also, let's talk about a little bit of the hypocrisy when it comes to sexual exploration between men and women. Now, when it comes down to women, it's more accepted, and of course, is looked as a benefit. how when it comes to men, a lot of times cisgender women, they don't really see that as a benefit and they try to shut it away, which is another reason why when you was to ask most cisgender women or whatever, would you ever date a bisexual man or just a man in general, like, you know, a man who ever had experience with another man? A lot of times they say no. Now the reason why I say that is because a lot of times when I've talked to a lot of DL people or whatever, you know, just having conversations, I ain't sleep with them, like, forgive me. So I have conversations when I say, you know, what's going on, da, da, da. Find out a lot of times they don't usually come out or, you know, have or be honest about certain things because they feel like their pool of women is not going to be there anymore. And I feel like
until you get your shit together, don't sleep with no damn body. Until you are able to live in your damn truth, don't sleep with nobody. You better off just beating your damn dick. You better off just doing that. Until you get whatever you need to get with your mental health and your life under control to where you can live in your damn truth, don't go out fucking men, women. Don't go out doing none of that shit. Just go ahead and beat your damn dick.
But who's really gonna do that though?
That's what I was gonna say.
Thousands of
I mean, I understand it. I'm just saying it.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, what's so unfortunate about that is, and see, this is what's so cancerous about having the support of the majority of people, because a lot of these people get to avoid even seeing the issue with themselves because the general public is in agreement with their mental rhetoric, is in agreement with their emotional rhetoric. Like, yeah, trans women are disgusting, queer people are abominable. And even if you find yourself on a so-called DL and you also hold a belief that what you're doing is wrong, but you still can't ultimately stop yourself from entertaining those affections, like, nobody is there, even like there's no outside place telling you you need to actually address that. You just stay within the struggle, because the people who are informing you are the people who are like informing the toxic part of you that's telling you, yeah, hate those queens, don't be gay. It's not right. But there's no, the opposite isn't there. The counter isn't there to say, hey, there's nothing wrong with your affection. There's actually something wrong with the society you're in. The people around you are ignorant and uninformed and deaf tone. And there's nothing wrong with your natural affections toward men and or women. And so a lot of niggas on the DL who toxic as fuck, they will kill the same trans women who they
ain't killing me. I'm having my gun ready. Blow their ass away.
They will beat and kill and assault the same gay men who they've been on the down low with.
Yeah. And
then return back to the toxic community.
I don't deal with niggas. I ain't got that problem.
That turns them into these monsters. And so in a way, I also empathize with the download community, because I even know, like, for myself, it took like certain mentors and certain things like inserted into my experience to like wake me up and help me to transition in my paradigm, in my understanding in life, to help me see things different, to encourage me on the right path. And so many of our Black boys don't have access to that. They're just being trained to go. They're not even really being nurtured to like understand the world, to go explore the world. To your point, reckless logic, like to go explore yourself, even if that means entertaining like affections between the same sex. Go out and be like, it's okay to.
But cons, it ain't no excuse for them to kill no damn body. They'll hurt.
Oh, it's not. It's never no damn excuse.
No, there's no excuse.
Yeah, it's never no damn excuse, and it's not any excuse for any of it, for the abuse and all. But it is the product of like it's a product of how severe that indoctrination is, and how significant and how much power the majority have. The majority has so much power over the human ego that we would rather do it. Because I was speaking about this even when speaking about Monique earlier, how like we buy into respectability politics because it's our way into acceptance of the status quo. It's our way to be accepted by the majority. And all human beings have something natural in them that makes them want to belong, for one, because we are a communal and tribal species, because we're mammals. But but then if we can belong to more people than not, we would definitely love the experience of being received and valued and supported by as many people as possible. And so every human being is struggling with this ego inside of them that wants to appeal and have the approval and validation of everybody that they, for the most part, come into contact with, but that might not can be everybody's experience based upon the way that society is set up and based upon what your truth is and how different and unique that makes you within that culture. And then because of that, you have people who get pushed out to the peripheral of society because maybe they're trans or they're queer, or they just decide to dress different, or they have a very eccentric, like I be watching all these weirdo ass like YouTube pages that like kind of specialize in highlighting people who are very different, like men and women who covered with tattoos from head to toe, including like them tattooed their eyeballs, and they'll follow like these people
How
who
the
are
hell you do
different
that?
around, and you get to see, like, you get to hear about their experiences, you get to kind of even see the way that the public responds to them. And these people are oftentimes very lonely. They don't have a lot of friends. They don't have a lot of connection to society. And it becomes sickening. But also those people, they make up the minority. Like those of us who are very different in whatever way that makes us different, whether it's being gay, trans, or how we dress, or what we believe, or whatever the case may be, whatever makes us unique. A lot of us, like, we still represent a minority because most people are assimilating to be a part of the majority. They're going to go ahead and make their family happy. They're going to go ahead and make their hood happy. They're going to go ahead and make their peers happy and satisfy them,
damn people,
rather than be an individual and stand in who they fucking are. And down low men are suffering from that on an extreme level, where nobody has
get their shit together. They need to keep their dick in their damn pants.
I think that we have to start
until they get it together. Keep your dick in your damn pants. I'm tired of this shit.
Looking towards the West, we need to stop looking at the hetero Christian normative as the way to lead our lives. We go back to what we've always been and what cultures have for the West is swept through. Because to be honest, you can go to other countries in India or all over the Eastern countries. They have trans people. They're accepted. People who like trans people. They're not, exiled from the community or anything. Like, these things exist more than being binary or anything. Like, we just need to get back to what we were before religion came in and tried to sweep that all away. It failed. We have all over the Americas that have always had two-spirit people. And they were never excluded from the tribe. They were considered holy people, healers. People exist on multiple scales. You can be attracted to men and women. You can be more than one thing. We have to stop trying to put ourselves in boxes at the end of the day and stop trying to live for somebody else and live for you.
Exactly. Fuck everybody. Living your damn truth. At the end of the day, if they ain't paying your bills or doing shit for you, what the fuck you worried about what they thinking for?
But also, I was going to say, this also goes back to the last panel that, the last panel that I was on, that we were kind of on, is talking about, where you, like, instead of throwing away, you rehabilitate. Where, the person, the victim, yes, you also rehabilitate the victim, but also, you also look at the person that did the crime as well, and you actually try to get to the root. And so, because the thing is that if you don't get to the root, which is the society and the way society grooms men, then guess what? It's going to be more trans and queer people being murdered or out on the street because they're afraid of the quote unquote their secret getting out. So I
don't deal with it. Not me. Clink, clink.
But yes, I do agree. Yes, they do need to keep their stuff in their pants. But since that's not happening, we do need to attack the roots so we can tackle them all together.
And like I say these things. Like I say, that's their trauma. So if I get defensive, that's what that is. That's that trauma. I understand what you're saying about the roots and stuff. It's like every time I hear that, it just kind of.
I know.
But like I said about it, that's why you have your gay brothers like me and Reckless, like who can do that work for you while you just focus on working through your own experiences. And those of us,
exactly, I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, and who have kind of dealt with that trauma and put it aside can then go into like those areas so that you don't have to be burdened with having to fucking empathize with your oppressor and empathize with those who are like a product of the fuckery and projecting that fuckery onto you and bringing those things and that violence into your fucking experience. This is why as many of us need to do the work as possible, need to do the work, because we have people out here like Monica who need to be focused on their own work, and yet society still needs to fucking change. And if the more of us are healing and doing our work, we can actually start getting to that work, while those who still need to be self-healing can self-heal while also still hopefully being able to live within a society that is getting better, like in real time, so that both things can happen. Like as I'm personally healing, I can also see and benefit from a society that's also trying to move forward as well. And so not sitting on that work and really doing that work is not just for ourselves. We also become like protectors and can become integral in making the world right now a better place for those brothers and sisters of ours who are not able to be right here where we are, but can still benefit from whatever work is being done on the front end. And so that's why I remind you, Monica, your ass don't even have to worry about like trying to cape for homophobic ass niggas or the download fucking community, because I had to work through my shit to get to this place as well. Like I came onto the scene on YouTube dog walking the download community because of the same shit that, you know, you have gone through and the dynamics and just all of that shit. And so just working through it. But I understand what it means to be in that place. And it takes time. It takes effort, but it takes fucking time. Like it takes
and I'll tell you, I've came a long way, but I still have a long way to go. Because there's been some things that I haven't been through that took me I've been down to hell and back, you know. I didn't been in the hospital before. I was going through, back in 2018, I was in a deep, dark place. It just, when nothing was going right, I feel like I was cursed that year. I was in such a dark place. So I came a long way. I've forgiven the people who hurt me, but it's like you say, I am having a hard time having compassion for these people. And that's what I'm talking about with my therapist now. I'm working on myself. I'm trying to get the healing. That's the next step in my process. The compassion, the empathizing, I have not got there yet. I forgive these people who have wronged me, but it's like I have a hard time trying to understand why they did it. Every time people say, like what you said, the root of why they did it, I kind of get offended by that, and it kind of makes me mad, because I'm thinking in my head right now, like, who gives a fuck about the root? It's like they did this, you know. I just want them to pay for it. But it's because I have not gotten to that place like where you got conscious to where have empathy and compassion. That's the next level that I'm working on now. I feel like when I tackle that level, then, you know, I can move further.
Yeah. When you are in the present moment of the pain and the trauma that's been afflicted, when we hear stuff like why they did it, to us, it sounds like it's an excuse for the behavior.
Yeah.
You know, and so because once again, like I said, I wasn't always in this place. I was where you are too. So I know exactly like what you mean when you say why it gaslights you, why it triggers you, because I know what things sound like when we are in the present moment of our pain and our trauma. And so I totally fucking get it. And that's why I said to you on the last panel that, you know, like, you won't have to try to empathize with anybody. Your wholeness will be reflected in that as you heal and be compassionate towards yourself and be empathetic towards yourself and deal with and work toward your own healing and wholeness. The rest of that shit will happen by the wayside in terms of you being able to empathize with whoever, but that starts with definitely being able to be compassionate with you. And so I'm even happy that you're able to even be honest with yourself about your anger, because that's a part of the self-therapy. Is I need to admit to myself that I'm mad as all fucking hell and acknowledge what has happened and been done to me, and the way that I and the way my life was altered by that trauma, the way that my life was affected and shaped by the hurt that people who were preying on me and were okay preying on me did to my existence. And so that anger, sometimes like in a bubbly yoga, just breathe and meditate society, they act like there's no room or that there's not anything psychologically healthy about anger, but anger is just as psychologically healthy and necessary for us to acknowledge as empathy and patience and kindness and all of that other virtuous shit is, because all anger is a raw look at the negative stimulation in our life. It's just an unfiltered it is what it is view of the negative stimulation in our life. Like that rape experience was just it's just blatantly fucked up. No, it's just fucked up. It's just a raw admission of negative stimulation. So when I've been a part of therapeutic, like, because I was in like I didn't do like commercial therapy. I did more so like spiritual therapy, like a lot of what y'all see kind of Iyanla do. It's a type of therapy that I have submitted myself to in the past, and I was always allowed to experience my emotions for what they are, and I had to train myself to do that because nobody told me that it was okay to be angry, especially raised up in the West and raised up in people who like really like to utilize Christianity. People act like to feel anger or negativity, it's like
it's unhealthy. It's actually
it's unhealthy. It's against God or something, like to shut up, to suck it up, like to oh well, what's your faith? Like give it to God. Like, and it's just like you don't, as a Black, there is literally so much wrong within our community now that I'm just even like it's a lot going on, but
a whole lot.
Yeah, I get it. I wanted to kind of peel back around a little bit to Lil Nas X, because one of the things that, before we wrap up this discussion, one of the things that kind of triggers me about some of the narratives around Lil Nas X is, and this comes from out of our own community, I don't like this notion that Lil Nas X is not really gay, because I don't know what that even fucking means. When
niggas like telling themselves that to make them feel better.
Huh?
So they just love telling themselves that, well, he's not really gay, to make their asses feel better. That's what they know how to do. That's all they know how to do.
Because it feels like we are doing that shit again that I don't like that we do, even like, because like in like even within the LGBT experience, it's just like, oh, like, okay, for instance, even me, like, it would be assumed that I'm a bottom when I'm versatile. I sling my dick, I make ass clap, I put my dick in niggas' throats. Like, I also have
a stereotype.
Yeah, like I have a down, like I got niggas, I got dude in me, I got masculine energy in me, I got feminine energy in me.
Even though with me being trans, you know, I still got the energy in me too. You know, like I say, I still, you know, like I said, it's 9 inches. I'm gonna keep talking about my dick. It's a long story, you know.
Father God.
But you know, I still use it too. I still jack it off and do all that stuff. But I'm still a lady.
Oh, they don't like that kind of teaching.
You know, but I still have those masculine habits. It only comes out when I'm horny or when I'm mad.
Well, let me ask you this question: do you even have an issue with those masculine energies? Since I mean, females have masculine energies too, because we all have masculine, feminine.
I don't have a problem with it. You know, I have come to the conclusion of accepting it because you know, I have come to realize that I'm a unique woman. Trans women are unique, and I'm still gonna have those uniqueness, you know, inside me. I'm still gonna have those energies from my previous identity inside me. You know, I'm still gonna have some of those habits. I'm still gonna pick up have some of those mannerisms.
I'm a press the gas a little bit further, and maybe LL like Lauren can chime in on this too. I'm a press the gas a little bit further on it, Monica. I don't even think that you have to necessarily assume that you're dragging old habits into your identity, because you have cis hetero women who literally have that same, who have access to that same masculine energy, and it leads them to also be very domineering in the bedroom. They want to put on a strap on. They peg their male partners. They have puppet energy as well. Like, I really do not think masculine energy and feminine energy is necessarily a product of the sex or the gender, more so than it's a product or a component of human nature and human functionality, that we just as people have those energies, and our own individual makeup just motivates some of us to be more aligned with maybe one over the other. It's extreme in some cases, where you have people who are extremely feminine, both men and women, or people who are extremely masculine, both men and women, or people who are swinging somewhere in between. But I feel like it has far less to do with like sex and more so just like we all have that. Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm a freak. I watch all type of porn, and I see
Baby, so does everybody. That's how you got
yeah,
the
like
dialogue community. Everybody watch porn. It don't matter. They have the freakiest categories. Say people make logins so they can get their favorites. Like, come on now. Sexuality is a spectrum. Everybody has that same energy.
I watch gay porn. I watch lesbian porn.
I watch trans porn, honey. I be in there, honey. I want to see it all, baby. Like, it's all crazy to
I
me.
even watch trans porn. Like, sometimes. I only did a few times.
I love it. I find it.
If we're gonna watch it, can't we just watch authentic stuff? Because I hate the production. It's like this is really fake. This is cheesy. No one says that. Nobody.
The amateur.
This is not real.
Oh, let me tell you. I never watch like the dialogue. I only get to the fucking. Like, I don't even
exactly.
But
like,
it's the moaning.
Get right to it. They be doing all
how
this
you moaning getting your toes sucked? Like, what is this? Like, girl, he ain't did nothing. What you he ain't doing nothing. That shit flaccid. What you moaning for?
We just be trying to get to the climax.
That's my issue.
Yes.
Like, moan when it's real.
But it's like Miss Yaya just said, like, I would love to start hearing from like cis women who are tops, because I think that also gives trans women a lot of leverage in terms of the separation between orientation and gender identity, that just because you identify as a trans woman doesn't necessarily mean that you play the submissive role sexually. There's lots of cis hetero women who do not play the role as bottom. They peg their men, they eat ass, they finger, they play the dominant role. There's lots of cis hetero men who also play the bottom role in heterosexual relationship and sex, where they are the ones who surrender to their woman. They're the ones who are penetrated by the strap.
And they G-spot is in their ass, Conch. The G-spot is in the man's ass.
Is in the man's ass. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
All of that. Mm-hmm. All of that. And so that's why I don't be understanding a lot of times what is there to be so confused about when it comes to trans women, because that masculine energy is always personified in cis hetero
because
women.
It doesn't fit into their stereotype, because they think automatically because that person is trans, they're a trans woman, they want to be a bottom.
And they also assume that if a woman is a biological heterosexual woman, that she's playing the submissive role. Like the assumption is on both. Is in both directions.
People making a lot of assumptions, making asses out of everybody. Just ask somebody what they like. Everybody's on the spectrum. People like certain things. It depends on who you with.
Everybody
let you be all you can be. You gonna be all you can be.
Everybody's different. We all supposed to be the same. You know, we all on the spectrum of diversity. We ain't all supposed to be the same. If everybody was the same, this world would be fucking boring. If women were just submissive, men were just masculine, and there would no feminine masculine energy dwelling within one flesh body, the world would be fucking boring. It'd be meaningless to live here. you know, it'll be boring. The uniqueness of people is what makes the world special and unique, and what makes it fun, and what makes life actually worth living, because you're able to express those uniquenesses about yourself.
Yeah,
You're right.
exactly. Exactly. I was going to ask you, Lauren, like as a cis woman, like what is your access to your masculine energy? Do you feel like, do you have access to that energy? And if you do, like, in what ways is that masculinity personified? And you're on mute too, boo.
I guess for me, it's just that I'm very direct in my needs and what I want and how I want things done. I just say it like it is, and I, in both the bedroom and in life, I'm just very firm in what I want. That's it for me. That's how it rolls for me. I'm like, I don't have to be dominant because I like to be both.
Amen.
It depends on who I'm with and the mood that I'm in. But I think for a lot of us, especially those who, you know, are being very successful in their field, you have to be dominant, and that energy comes from being masculine. You know, alpha females, as they call it. I hate that term, by the way. But, you know, we all have the energy. We utilize it for our needs. So I feel like there's a lot of women out there, especially women. You know, some people go about it in a soft, submissive way. Yeah. And some of us just tell, like, this is what it is. This is what I want. And if you can't do it, there's the door.
Amen.
The door.
I know a lot of women who, I know a lot of cis women who even though they are the bottom sexually, they still are the dominant one, even as the one being penetrated. They are the dominant receiver. Like,
yeah, they get on top and ride that thing like a horse.
Shoot, you on the bottom, bucking them off. What you mean? You on the bottom, bucking them to a wall too?
Can I say something?
Yes, please say something. The bottom of the panel, please say something.
Well, for one, I'm over here getting myself food. Y'all some nasty motherfuckers over here talking about porn. Talking about porn. I'm over here talking all normal in front of my grandma.
I'm freaky dicky like that.
So, Vinny, you think
this is why I like coming on here, because we can have these conversations, and I can really be myself on here, and we can have these unique conversations. This is why I like coming on here.
I mean, absolutely. Like, there's so much for us. Like, we need to explore it into the, like, I am going to explore these issues into the damn ground, until the bone marrow, until there's nothing absolutely fucking left, because there's so many layers and layers and layers when it comes to gender. It comes to gender identity. It comes to orientation. It comes to just society. It comes to religious spirituality. And there's not enough conversation that really gets to the bottom of it all, because there's just so much that's there. Reckless logic, which you stating, like, you are a same gender loving man too. Like, how does your feminine and masculine energies come into expression in your life?
Well, for me, but from expression, I think my feminine energy comes from my mannerisms and the way that I talk and stuff. But I think my masculine energy comes from the way that I express myself, as in the way I dress, if you want to talk about socially. Now, in terms of like emotionally, of course, me being a good communicator, have a lot of empathy, a really soft spot for people. I think that's, you know, more on the feminine side, the nurturing part of me. Because even when people say I'm quote unquote mad or whatever, they say I have a nurturing spirit. But I think the masculine part of me is when, you know, of course, I take a stand and I get angry and stuff like that. And also, let me say this too, LL. The thing that I also find interesting is that whenever women, quote unquote, get in touch with their masculine side, or quote unquote be alpha female or alpha boss or whatever, they like to call her a bitch to try to negate or deflect. Now, especially
like,
so hold on. So I got another question for you before you feed your face. So, well, hold on. I would get back to you, Lauren, because I'm actually to Monica. So with you, kind of like, with you being comfortable with your measure of masculine energy and feminine energy, like when it comes to your male partners, like, do you also, like, are you okay with a man like who has access in whatever way he does to his femininity? Like,
oh, absolutely. That's what you call having a partner and having someone who balances you.
mm-hmm.
Because some of us can be so wrapped up in that energy that we forget the other side of the we forget how to be gentle. We forget how to be submissive, to be expressional of our emotions. So my boyfriend is very much that. He can be incredibly masculine, and then he can be really soft and very loving. And I'm like, and I appreciate that because I didn't have that growing up. I didn't see that growing up.
People want these hard masculine. I'm like, why do y'all want that? It's not gonna work out for y'all better good. It's okay to have. You need a man who can show his emotions and show his feminine side, because he's the one that's gonna treat you right. These toxic masculine ones,
or he's the one that understands, like, this is how I express how I'm feeling. I'm not just gonna say I'm mad. I'm gonna say I'm disappointed because such and such happened, and this is how we'll like things to happen. You can have real dialogues, real conversations about issues in your relationship without it boiling down to you yelling and screaming at each other.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually work to solving problems, and this relationship is the first time I've ever experienced that. Because I had some very emotionally stunted dudes in the past that, let's be real, I was in it for the dick. It was great.
Okay.
It was awesome. But like, other than that, it's like, all right, now you gotta get your ass out. Go take a shower and get out. You did good. Here's $5.
Yes, ma'am.
But let me ask everybody on the panel this, and I guess you can go first, Lauren. Would you have been able to date, considering that you are appreciative and open-minded enough, and you are informed enough to like know that these energies show up in everybody differently in very unique ways on both the men and women's side? Could you have dated a Prince, the artist formerly known as?
Absolutely, like, I would have sold my mama for Prince.
You know what? Go on mute. You know
that's a hell yeah, and he light skinned too. Oh hell yeah!
What you mean? Prince was the baddest motherfucker. He fucked your daddy and your mama, and they both want him later. What you mean?
Very bad. So you and mama would have been fighting over this damn man.
He's like, you have to go purify your mother in the waters of Lake Minnetonka. I was like, all right, we're going dipping, bitch. Let's go. It's Prince. We gotta go. It's motherfucking Prince.
So it's definitely a yes for Lauren, honey.
Enthusiastically.
It's definitely a yes for me over here. You already know that.
Even if she got to put mama on a milk cart, baby, it's a yes for Lauren. It's a yes for Monica.
Hell, nah, it's not just. It's a hell yeah.
It's a hell.
Yeah, like hell yeah. You got to put the little book behind it.
Okay. Reckless, are you? Is it a yes for Prince, or that's a little bit too much feminine energy for you?
I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet.
You honest.
Yeah, I'm honest. No. But here's the thing. You remember when we had the whole conversation off the phone talking about the masculine energy, all that other stuff?
Yeah.
And you remember saying that you was working on yourself, and then so that's what I started to do. So remember when we first met or whatever? I was not attracted to femininity at all, girl. It was.
You wasn't? I didn't know that. Or did I know that?
No, like I can. At all, no. No. But then that's why I started working on myself, and now I can deal with a dude that's both, like both masculine, both feminine.
Okay, but hold on. Let me ask you this question: could you deal with a nigga who is just as feminine as you are? Like, could he have the same level of femininity, reflected in his mannerisms and all?
Yes.
Okay.
I can do it. I've made a lot of growth.
Okay. So let me ask y'all this question then. So do y'all feel like there should be no such thing as preference when it comes to femininity and masculinity, and more so a goal for all human beings to like ultimately like just should femininity and masculinity should be put on a preference scale more so than it should just be something that's accepted about human beings, that we all just have that energy, and femininity on men is beautiful and sexy, masculinity on women is beautiful and sexy, and that it's just what it is. Like,
I don't believe in that. No, it shouldn't be as far as mannerisms go. No, that shouldn't matter. Because like I said, that don't matter to me. As long as you sexy to me, and you attractive to me, and you treat me good, and you are nice, that's all that matters. That's the only thing I'm looking at.
You better say
how
that.
you carry yourself. We can go get our nails did together. If you
Okay, so let me ask you this
man,
question there, Monica.
huh?
Could you date another trans woman?
I
Are you not there yet?
I know I can date a trans man. I ain't got no problem with that. But
you
know, like I said, Conch, you know,
that's cute.
That's what I say. They have such cute babies.
I mean, I guess I never thought of it like that.
Ooh,
you know?
Okay, because I be seeing that. I be seeing that on the side of porn. That I be watching too is the trans girls, you know, on they lesbian shit, on they girl on girl shit too.
I would definitely fuck a female, you know, a cis female.
Oh, you got close to the mic on there. Like, I do that.
You know what, Monica? You are just Whitney Houston. I'm everyone.
It's all in me.
Heck, she trying to be all in her. What you mean?
Period.
Wait, but I was gonna say another thing that I wanted to say before, but I low-key forgot. Is that another thing that I found really attractive, especially the reason why I like people that has like both energies, is that I like the person that can turn it on and turn it off. Like typically, and what opened my eyes to that, I started talking to a dude or whatever, and he was like more on the feminine side or whatever, but you know, I was trying new things, but I still was attracted to him. And just it's safe to say he wasn't the typical. So but the things I realized when it was time for us to get in action, he just switched it on and like he just turned the whole Mandingo on you. Like, oh, okay, I can do this.
He brought that Mandingo out.
Oh,
you already know it.
And you know what? I heard because I got a friend. Like he's masculine as hell. Like he's like a b-boy, like the typical boy next door type shit. Like, but he is his type is feminine tops. He fucking lives and loves, and he be on the hunt for feminine tops. He love a man who is like a snap, popple, and pop type bitch and mannerisms, but who's just a top sexually, and it turns him on. And I heard that feminine niggas be slanging major dick. Like I've heard a lot about the sex game of feminine niggas. Like
they ain't got to open confiscate.
They do. I'm just not there yet. I'm trying to get there.
You gonna get there.
You gonna get there. Well, I think this has been a full conversation. We are definitely embarking upon the 3-hour dialogue. Oh, I don't think I got everybody's. I want to end on this note. Like, I don't think I was clear. What does, like, for y'all, when y'all hear like all this speculation about Lil Nas X, he ain't really gay, he pretended to be gay, or it looked like he trying, or femininity don't look right on him. Like, what is y'all's attitude about that?
I just think niggas need to shut up and mind their fucking business and raise their damn kids. This is the hell I just think. What the heck? This is a man you will never meet, you will never have a conversation with, just like y'all will never meet Dwayne Wade, just like y'all will never meet Malik Yoba, and you damn sure ain't gonna never meet Zaya. These are people who are living their damn life. They don't even know you exist, let alone your damn kids. What the hell is you worried about him for? All these videos that y'all making about him are videos he will never see. And if he does see it, he probably laughing at your ass, looking at you like you stupid, because that's exactly how you look, stupid.
Okay. Anybody else can jump in? How y'all feel?
Oh, sorry.
Huh?
I say he's gotten to the point where he can express himself the way he wants to. Let him do it. I think he is what the heck he say he is, because.
But what do y'all think it comes from? Like, in terms of like, why do people seem to like be struggling with him really being gay, or if he's really feminine like this?
I don't really know. Like, it really got nothing to do with it.
What a gay man looks like. It's he's super masculine, down low thug looking type, or he's super feminine, like, oh my god, yes, queen. And that's not all gay men. We know that. There's a spectrum. People can exist in their own little world and express themselves sexually. But that just, I don't know why, but that just really messes with people's heads, that there can be gay, nerdy people who aren't in the club scene and who don't, work out all the time. Like, gay is gay. It's just a sexual preference.
Exactly.
Stick his penis where he likes to stick his penis, but it doesn't mean that
If you ain't got to suck this man's dick or fuck him or take like what the hell is you worried about it for? You go get you some pussy, get you some dick with your lonely ass. Go do that.
I'm like, I'm sorry, what man? I'm sorry, he gay as hell to me. This dude slid down a pole. He went to hell, like they always say. Gay people going to hell. He went
But
to hell.
when one actually goes to hell, they still mad. When a fag actually goes to hell, they still mad. Like, what the hell are y'all mad for? Ain't you say that's where he was going, but now that he went there and he danced with the stripper pole and killed the devil, you still mad? Like, you
I have a question. I'm sorry. I ended up getting a call, so I kind of missed the question. So what was the question? So I can catch up real quick.
Is whether y'all think that the like doubt and skepticism around whether Lil Nas X is really gay, if he's really this feminine, it seems a little manufactured. This doesn't seem quite natural. Where do y'all think that, like, where do you think it comes from when you hear like that?
Okay. Honestly, I feel like for one, people keep saying this whole thing, talking about he wasn't this feminine before and da. Well, people have to realize too, he wasn't out before too. So
he was faking it, hated, baby. He was.
So when you're not out on your DL or whatever, you're not gonna be as feminine or be as quote unquote free as you normally would if you're already out. And also keep in mind too, he is a troll. So yes, he may not be quote unquote 100% that feminine naturally, but however, he may be putting on 1,000 on his performance and stuff just to piss y'all off. So it could be both, honestly.
Exactly. Like exactly. And I'm glad he pissing these niggas off.
It's because he pissed the hoteps off like a mother.
I don't give a damn about them hoteps. Them niggas deserve to get pissed off with their bitch ass. I'm sick and tired of them.
Motherfuckers who got in that time about women shouldn't bleed on a monthly basis. Like, I don't listen to a hotep. Y'all.
I can't talk to them, especially ones like Dawa. I started an interview with you did with Dawa years ago. You and J Love and that watching that pissed me off. I was on that, you know me. I would cuss Dawa ass all the way out.
Baby,
I would all the way out.
It was very interesting.
Actually, since we're on the topic of hoteps, side note have nothing to do with this, but it's side note.
Hold on. Before you even say that, then because we can just move like right into whatever like you're gonna take it into. As it relates to Lil Nas X, I want to say I think it might have a lot to do with two things. Probably the colorism. I think that because he's dark skinned, a lot of like, you know,
that's what pisses me off too, Carl.
Yeah, like he's being projected to like he should be more masculine.
That's
like,
what pisses me off.
And he can't really be
refer to somebody as being masculine or feminine. This is why it's pissing me off when they say light skinned men are weak. I'm like, how does the skin color make them weak? And I'm not just defending that because that's my preference. I like light skinned mixed and white man. I like that. That's sexy to me. I ain't got no shame in my game. But I'm not just saying that because of that. Like, it's stupid to think, how does the skin color make somebody masculine or feminine? Like, you sound stupid. You don't sound no better than these white folks who say just because you black, you a thug, or you this, or you that, or you dangerous, or you gonna steal it, or you gonna rob them, or you gonna shoot them and break in their house in the middle of the damn night. Y'all ain't acting no damn different. Black folks piss me off and they make me want to go upside their goddamn head when they say that light-skinned men are weak and dark-skinned. How does a fucking skin color make you weak or masculine? That sounds real stupid to me. And niggas who think like that, like, you are retarded. You really are. You're stupid. Like, they really get to my goddamn nerve.
Well, if you want to take that a step further, I know some people they associate that because light-skinned people are usually mixed breed as with what Caucasian people. So if you want to take it a step further, I know some people say that because, you know, oh, you got that white people blood up in here, you don't have that true melanin and stuff like that. So that's one reason.
But they uplift these fucking biracial women though. That's another thing. See, because like, yeah, and you're right, light skin is perceived as feminine and dark skin is perceived as masculine. So it looks good on the man and it looks weak on it, and it looks bad on the woman as far as dark skin by these niggas' logic. And so light skin looks good on the female, but it looks bad on the man by these niggas' logic. And that's why they shit on dark skinned men and light skinned women. Dark skinned women and light skinned men the most, and they uplift dark skinned men and light skinned women the most because they fit their fucking narrative.
Amen. I agree. Where were you? I was gonna say the other part because like within that within a colorist anti-black rhetoric, they narrate black men, like dark-skinned black men, as like the macho, as the barbaric, as the
mandingo,
super slave nigga, as the like super tough. And so I think that definitely plays a lot into why people struggling to be like, is he really gay? And like this femininity don't look right on them, and they think that has a lot more to do with them than it really does have to do with the way they've been conditioned about blackness and complexion and light-skinned, brown-skinnedness, dark-skinnedness. I think that has a lot to do with it. I also will say, I think what else has to do with it is, I think Lil Nas X is naturally kind of like a socially awkward person, so he just looks awkward in general. Like he just has kind of a weird social awkward posture because he's an introvert. Like you said, Reckless Logic, he's also a troll, and he's a part of like the weirdo anime kids. Like he's a part of our club, like the kids who was raised up comic books and was just kind of like a nerd and kind of off-putting and a little socially awkward. And so I think he's just going to look kind of awkward no matter kind of what he does. He's just kind of always want to just appear that way. But you was about to take us somewhere else, Reckless.
Oh, so I was gonna say, since we're on the topic with hoteps and hoteps and what they think, like back in the day or whatever. Kevin Samuels. Now, the reason I brought that up because I find it very funny how a lot of people, they was like, oh, for Kevin Samuels is saying all this right. But then when Kevin Samuels told men that they have to pay for everything, then all of a sudden they want to pull out of the support for Kevin Samuels. And I find it very very funny that when it comes down to the studies or the principles of certain hoteps, they're real traditional. But however, as in women, like it's real traditional when it comes down to women. But however, when it comes down to them actually providing, actually paying for all the bills, then all of a sudden everybody gets aggressive. Real quick. 1 second, y'all.
How you gonna be powerful?
He brought up Kevin Samuels. He said the K word. Ew.
Oh my God.
Ew.
He's right, ew. But what about him? Like he was saying something because I kind of had he was saying that we get progressive when what Kevin, like what was the sentiment? Or did he just not finish?
My bad. Some lady had to drop something off. I have a lot going on over there.
Together. Hurry up.
Say it again.
I said, get it together. Hurry up.
I said it.
Oh, like what you had saying now?
Yeah. Oh,
no,
I said
what
that,
you had said about Kevin Samuels?
Okay. When it comes down to Kevin Samuels, I noticed that a lot of men, especially hotep men, they usually support him for the most part. That I've noticed, and like they always be in support whenever he be dragging like dark skinned women, black women and stuff. And the thing is that I found very funny is that one day that Kevin Samuels told all the men that they should be paying for everything and being the provider and stuff like that. And all of a sudden they wanted to pull back on their support.
They ain't nothing but a bunch of bitch ass niggas. That's what they are.
And what I found so funny is that when it comes down to women, they're all traditional, but however, when it comes down to men, as in quote unquote paying for everything and the woman not paying a dime, all of a sudden they want to be progressive and say, oh, it's both of our incomes and we both got to do this.
But we all know why that is. That's because Kevin Samuels spends his time attacking black women, and a lot of people who hate black women feed into that man and will defend him.
And then they wonder why black
last.
women always angry all the time, and black trans women always angry. Maybe because of niggas like that, and we got to hear shit like that on a damn fucking basis. Maybe that's why all these black women walk around here ready to pop off, cis or trans. That's why we always walk around here acting like that because of bullshit like that.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of those men like who follow Kevin Samuels to Logic's point, who like okay with everything else that he preaches, except when it comes to black men needing to
be responsible and actually be men.
To financially support black women fully, I feel like those men, like that's a prime receipt of the fact that like those black men, ultimately, like what they're saying is, I don't think that a black woman is worth it enough. I don't think she's worth it enough. I don't think that a black woman is worth enough to take care of fully. I don't think that she's worth me slaving over and making all the money over and getting all the bills over.
They don't do that for any woman, black or white. It ain't a woman problem. It's a nigga problem. Even they was with a whole damn white woman, they'll still treat her like shit too.
It's a nigga problem.
It's a nigga problem. It ain't got shit to do with no damn woman.
It's a nigga problem.
It's a nigga problem.
Father God.
Have you ever heard of this bitch called Michi X?
You're right about that, and I feel like that is the class. That is the perfect title for those type of black men, niggas. Them niggas, not black men. Them niggas. Period.
Have you ever heard of this fat pig called Michi X?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's this biracial woman who gets on my nerves. She done a video about me too. I had to cuss her out. She is a biracial. She got a white daddy, and she is so goddamn hoteppy. She is so, she overconfiscates. She cuss like a bitch. She cuss as much as I do, you know. And she got to overcompensate, which like most of them biracial hoes do. Over fucking confiscate. And it's because she's been uplifted by these damn niggas to where she feel like she can tell real black women what to do.
And do you know why? Because she's a biracial girl. She's a biracial girl.
This one pisses me off with these biracial hoes. Let there have been a biracial man. Everybody be attacking him. Oh, but that's just some fucking biracial bitch. That these niggas love.
I would definitely say that I think a lot of the position biracial women are in is definitely a complicated one. I do see a lot of times that biracial women, just like a lot of so-called like exotic women, especially when they have access to black men, definitely feel that that gives them a license to correct and critique or to even feel superior
Khloe Kardashian.
Black women. But I will also say that I also accept, of course, biracial women as just as black as I am and just as white as their whiteness is too. I don't see them as less than black because they are biracial, because they are biracial. But I do see that the way that white supremacy and colorism has it set up, obviously biracial women have a privilege in a sense as it relates to their fully black female counterparts. That privilege,
they're privileged in the black community because they wouldn't get away with doing this shit in the white community. The white community, they still considered niggas. They can pull this shit in the black community, mainly because of these damn niggas who lick their lips out over these bitches.
Monica, you're gonna have to send me, because people in the comment section are aware of her. I've never heard of her. You're gonna have to send me a link. I never heard of Michi. Michi X.
Michi X is a fat. She know me. Michi X know me. She know I cussed her ass out. She know me. She know me. I had to go off on her. She know me. She got a whole video on me, Conch.
What?
Me going off on her.
Are you serious? What? I got to see this. Oh my God, I never heard of this. I'm gonna watch tonight. Like, send me a link or something. I had no idea. But I'm gonna tell you this: if there's one thing that I hate more than hotel males, it is hotel motherfucking women. I don't know what it is, baby, but it is an itch to my fucking ass when it comes to hotel women. I think it's because it's just like, girl, do you really have the nerve and the stupidity to reinforce your own oppression? Are you really going to participate in your own oppression? Are you really going to co-sign an ideology that completely keeps your ass in like social handcuffs? Like, it No, like it really just stirs my blood in me. But Miss Oz, my beautiful mod,
she don't even know what I look like. I'm just the average. She just hear my voice. You know.
I gotta see this.
She don't even know what I look like. Like you see me on here, you know. I try to be anonymous because I like my privacy.
Yeah.
But I still try to get my point across via, you know, like we doing here. But she's never seen what I look like. She has heard my voice though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me say this, please, because like this whole biracial black woman thing. I'm just gonna say what I'm gonna say. Hopefully, I don't make the room turn when I say it.
Well, hold on. So let me preference. We about to have my mod and my good sis Oz come up here. She's also a biracial woman, and she's and she's married to a black man, so she gonna hit the link too.
Yes, because I was gonna say my sister's biracial as well. Okay, because here's the thing. I just feel like if we all just love, I was gonna say if we all just love who we love and stop trying to put other people down, this really wouldn't be a big thing. Because I've seen all the sides to the whole biracial thing through my sister, of course, because I understand the struggle of what black
women get it from both sides. I admit that they get it from both sides. They get it from black and white people.
Yes, because I was gonna say that men put they kind of put a biracial woman on a pedestal at times, but then at the same time, they put the biracial woman sometimes in a spot because sometimes she may be just living her life, and you may have some dark-skinned women that may be hating on her, and then sometimes too, at times, please make sure y'all do not mix up my word because I know how messy this can be. At times, the biracial woman can also use that as empowerment to make herself seem superior, and the other person
exactly. That bitch always talking
like that. But I just feel like
if you don't sit your fat ass down,
I just feel like if we all just love each other for who we really are.
If you guys are speaking to me, I can't hear you yet. I gotta fix this stupid mic problem, of course.
Okay.
She always talking about that gay. She is annoying. That heifer is annoying. She knows me. Yeah, Michi's big ass. She is annoying.
Yeah, I will agree and say hotel women are really the worst.
And she knows me. She knows me. She knows my voice. She don't even know what I look like, but she knows you will hear my name floating around her channel. She know I became a fan favorite over there, just like I have over there.
I became a fan favorite over there.
Because I had to cuss her out because she gets on my nerves.
Can you hear us,
LGBT folks?
I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, we can hear you. I'm like, I thought you was like trying to fix it. I'm like, can you hear us?
Has the nerve to be against interracial dating.
I fixed it now.
Interracial dating will get your ass here.
Ooh.
I wanna invite Oz into the conversation. She definitely wanted to jump in on the interracial piece because Oz is she's a whole biracial woman. Honey.
I'm a whole 157 over here.
Okay. So what are your thoughts about the
as far as
sometimes a lot of biracial women
stop trying to hold on 1 second, because my daughter tried to call me and done interrupted my phone, so it messed up my audio. Go tell her to stop. She just tried to call my phone. Call her on.
Miss Oz trying to set them up.
Can you hear me now?
Honey.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you. Okay. So how do you feel about
this? What I have to say as far as
I think your phone is breaking up, Miss Oz. Can you hear us? I think you're frozen or glitched. If you can hear me. Hello? Okay.
I swear to God, they try to call me one more time.
I think we have another guest. Wow.
Time they do it interrupts it.
Okay. Everybody hold on real quick. I need to vet this particular person coming into the stream real quick. Hold on real quick. Let me see what this gives real quick.
Yeah.
Rock.
Because I'm on something. I couldn't call. You kept if you try to call me and I don't answer it, call your daddy phone.
Rock.
Yeah, I'm here.
What's up? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you. What's going on? Welcome to the stream.
Thank you. I'm chilling. I just been in and out, but I've been listening to the conversation.
Okay. Do you have a few moments because I was going to let Miss Oz speak, and then
yeah.
Okay, so just stay right there. I'm glad you joined us, and I'm gonna let Miss Oz have it, and then I definitely would love to hear from you. So Miss Oz, biracial woman, what's up?
Okay, if my family can leave me the hell alone for like a hot second. Look, I have gotten it my whole entire life from both sides. I've gotten it from Black women, and then I've gotten it from white men. This is who I've gotten it from. The Black men I never had a problem with, mostly, but I understand that that's because of this nonsense that they think about light-skinned women, which I don't agree with either. I think it's stupid. And white women have always had this thing about they want to have that Black friend who's not quite all the way Black. So I've gotten it. I have had to go upside so many doggone heads and really just read people the Riot Act repeatedly because of them trying to vet me based on the lightness of my damn skin. Yes. I grew up in LA. I was a whole ass gang member. I act like a straight dude, but still I've always gotten it from Black women trying to tell me I'm trying to act too Black. I act the way I fucking act. I'm not acting Black. I'm just acting the way I act from where I was raised at. That's it. My mother was more concerned with the stuff that was going on with me racially than my dad, who is a whole islander and Black. But my dad is a get in and fit in type of nigga.
Yeah.
He can speak 9 different languages, but he will fit the hell in. My father will assimilate. He don't want no problems. He don't want no static. My mother, on the other hand, you would have thought my mama was the Black woman. She's busting in doors, kicking in stuff, telling people my daughter's biracial, you gonna respect her Blackness and all this other stuff. And that was my white mom.
Okay, so let me ask you this question, and I'm gonna get to you, Rock, too. What have you observed in terms of like being around other biracial women? Like, have you ever felt like biracial, like your experience of biracial women made you feel like they think they're better than fully Black women, or they feel like they're more valuable to Black men?
Okay, I can understand where that thought process comes from because I have had some friends who were like that, who thought they shit didn't stink just because they were light skinned. And I've had friends who hated themselves because they were biracial.
No, don't hate yourself now.
I was at that point for a minute only, and I'll tell you what actually put me there. For a minute, I locked myself away in a room for like 2.5 years where I didn't even come out of my room. I dropped out of school and everything because my parents moved me to an all-white town. And I hadn't been around just white people. I had been around a mix of people. You know, you grow up in LA, it's everybody. Everybody's everywhere. My father worked in Hollywood. I met all kinds of people. So I was accepting of all different types of people. But then my parents moved me to a town where they actually still were having Klan meetings. And I had to deal with people saying all kinds of stuff about me that I had never dealt with that type of racism ever before. And it just made me want to hide away. That was it.
Wow.
I just wanted to hide away. And it was worse because the couple of Black people that did live in the town, they didn't accept me either because I was too light for them.
Yeah.
You know what?
So who the hell am I supposed to go to?
Like, you know what, Oz? I'm glad that you actually mentioned light-skinnedness, because that's really what it comes down to more so than it does the woman being biracial, because there are biracial women who are dark-skinned. There are biracial women who and they don't get to benefit from being biracial
at all.
Privilege and hierarchy just because they're biracial if they're dark-skinned.
My sister
is dark. My sister is dark. She dark like my husband. She red like my husband. She dark. She don't look nothing like me. She doesn't have. I got green eyes and everything. Now I can pass. I can pass easy. And I have purposely let white people get close to me, thinking that I was white like them, and let them start talking a whole bunch of, and then bust them out, letting them know I'm a whole nigga.
Yeah.
Not a whole.
Totally got it. Okay. So put a pin in it right there. Put a pin in it right there.
Yes, ma'am.
Rock, are you there, Rock? I think Rock got us on.
Yeah, no, okay. I'm here.
Okay, so what's going on, sir? Welcome to the platform for the first time. I know that you opened up by saying that you kind of been listening to the broadcast. What are your thoughts?
I just have a few thoughts, but I won't put them all out at one time. But
oh, you know what? I know who the fuck this is.
Yeah, I was surprised you didn't catch it.
You know why? Because it's something missing from Rock.
Right.
And then and then I didn't catch the voice at first. Okay. All right. What's good? Have at it.
Yeah. So I'll start with the colorism. Yeah, always been colorism.
Y'all, before you get, y'all, you know what? I'm gonna stop doing these damn lives because I can never stay on the straight and narrow and come on here and talk about one silent topic without us talking about Cardi B and colorism and every damn thing else. And it's supposed to be about sexuality, but it is what the hell it is. Go ahead.
You see, I tried.
Well, it kind of goes along with Lil Nas X because Lil Nas is he's kind of breaking barriers because he's a dark chocolate young man.
Dark-skinned men don't experience colorism either. That's the FYI.
That was my thing. Men. That's the thing I was gonna say. Every shade that we have, every shade experiences colorism, I believe, because
not dark-skinned men. Straight cis-het dark-skinned men do not experience colorism to me.
Uh-oh. Well, let me. Oh shit! Hold on, y'all. I think. Rock, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
I'm sorry, I accidentally clicked you off. I think. Okay, go ahead. Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
so let me ask the question then. Since we just talked about the fact that Lil Nas X, he's the skepticism around his sexual orientation has somewhat to do with a colorism. Do we still think that dark-skinned black men don't experience it, even though they get narrated and get interpreted a certain way because of the way that anti-blackness and colorism has informed us about light-skinned men, light-skinned women, dark-skinned women, dark-skinned men? Or do we not call that colorism per se? Like, is that something else if it's not colorism?
It's colorism. It's colorism. And I, growing up as a brown skinned man myself, I experienced colorism because when I was growing up, coming up in the 90s, the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, there was this thing like the lighter you are, the better you are. And I used to have, like the young lady spoke of the self-hatred she had at one point. I went through that phase as a brown-skinned boy with nappy hair, with siblings who were mixed. Like I grew up in a very mixed family. Yes. So some of us had curly hair, some of us had straight blonde hair, gold hair, jet black hair, like lighter skin, medium skin, olive skin. Like everywhere on the scale, that's what my family is full of. And so growing up as just a dark skinned, peasy head, nappy head boy, I experienced a lot of rejection and
by who?
By family, by people on the outside, and when I say family, they might not have realized or deliberately understood what they were doing, but it was there nonetheless. I'm getting some feedback. Is everybody hearing me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, okay.
We can hear you just fine.
But but I experienced a lot of colorism growing up. I experienced from and then I had a culture shock.
Oh, really? Really?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at this damn comment. And I'm trying not to get myself upset. Like, I really am.
Don't get yourself upset, honey.
Okay.
Go ahead, D-Rock.
Yeah, and then I had a culture shock when I moved here from a predominantly black school as a kid, and I moved to a predominantly white school, and I experienced racism. And so I was already experiencing colorism, and then I experienced racism. So I grew up with a lot of insecurity about my skin color, my skin complexion, my hair texture. So, but I know there are light-skinned people who experience like they have to overcompensate because people think they're soft or they're weak because they're light-skinned.
Exactly,
So
and that's what pisses me the fuck off.
Yeah.
Definitely, they think that.
Yeah, and then the really dark
men also feel that they have to compensate because they are expected to be a rough and tough. They are
It's the dark skinned man doing it half the fucking time, Conch.
Yeah, and then you have the dark.
Colorism goes all the way back, literally, to enslavement and to.
It does.
Well, yeah, it's a divide. It's a divide and conquer tactic.
Yeah, it's totally represented in the house niggas versus the field niggas and the slaves that were made to do the hard labor because, etc., and the light-skinned slaves that had a different set of duties on the plantation, etc. And so,
seem to be getting treated better or seem to have the better things or whatever. It's
Even
all divide and conquer. At the end of the day, Black people are every color of the damn rainbow. All life started from us. What the hell? We are every damn color. What are you talking about? There are straight albino niggas with blonde hair and ice blue eyes. Right in Africa, in the middle of the desert with the sun beating down on them, and they still ain't gonna get no darker than me.
Right.
I understand I understand that. I'm not saying that dark skinned men don't experience colorism, but from what I've seen, everybody uplift these motherfuckers. You know,
I'm gonna tell you another place that is represented in corporate America, like, because I hear a lot of dark skinned Black men like talk about the way that they're like policed and kind of like
no, but they feel like they mandingo all the damn time.
Well, yeah, like that's definitely a side of it. But even with the corporate America, like I hear from a lot of like dark skinned Black men in corporate America who always say like there's no space for what we would call Black masculinity in white corporate America, like that. They have to be docile, have to go out of their way to be like non-threatening and personable because any other trait is considered like intimidating, etc. And so it's just interesting to see the ways that colorist systems impact dark-skinned and light-skinned people, like in all these like different.
They associate the dark skin with the buck out in the field working, the one that was strong and out in the field, and they associate the light skin with the house nigga who was the yes boy. So they're scareder of the dark skinned guy than they are of the light skinned guy.
I'm just talking about within the nigga community. Like I can care less about what whitey think. I'm talking about amongst niggas, amongst the Black people.
Even amongst
everything that we do is something that was taught to us by somebody else. That's the whole point. We're just showing the characteristics of what has been taught to us. It's constantly taught to us. It's taught to us all through school. It's taught to us through what we watch on TV. All of it. We have to deprogram our damn selves. That's the problem. We're programmed, and we got to do some deprogramming.
Yeah, and even in the Black community.
Okay, can this person down here shut the fuck up with these dumbass comments? Like
in the comments. I don't know. Someone said something.
Talking about the comment section.
No, I'm talking about this. What Conscious put up here? Like, shut up.
Well, that's the observation, Monica.
Like, I'm sorry. I'm trying to. Observation. I'm not upset. You know.
Yeah. I get it, John. I know how your personality's set up at this point. Yeah, I get it. Okay, go ahead, D-Rock.
Yeah, I was saying, but even in our community, like even in the Black community, from my experience, I was talking about my
actually, like dark-skinned men and dark-skinned women are actually on, like, they are the ones who experience colorism at its most extreme.
I'm just trying to see where at. Everywhere I go, they uplifting these niggas.
In my job,
where at?
My job, they like for one, you know, at one point in time, I used to work in a restaurant, and all the Black people used to be in the back of the house, which is like the kitchen, and all the light skinned or lighter tone people, or even myself, because I'm like debatable. We would be in the front of the house. So it was bad to the point where I like, for me, you know, me being a joke or whatever, I would always call the back of the house the black of the house, because it was only nothing but us black people back there. But then I would ask them about bringing, like, you know, people with a darker tone up. I'm like, why am I like the only black server in the front?
Let me
And
tell you
the
something.
ones that
I
are like
worked at
light skin.
McAllister's Deli. I worked as a busser. I was always in the front. I was always doing the serving and everything. I was real popular there. You know, I was the most popular, one of the most popular employees. And we really didn't have a lot of like dark skinned men working there. It was only all like white men and black women. Like, that's the only people I associate with it at the job, because that's the only people that worked there. It was black males working there at the beginning, but they all went away like after a month or so, because the establishment I was working at was a newly established facility. Like, there was a new building, and I was amongst one of the first employers to work there. It was a new building and everything. But all the black males left, but the ones that were there, they were in the front. You know, they didn't seem to have this problem. They were in the back and the front. You know, sometimes they would just switch it out. Sometimes.
Wow. I want to read this. I want to read this article. Just to balance everything out. It comes from pbs.org. And it reads that I tried to pull it up on my computer, but my computer is acting slow because it needs to be rebooted. But it says the death of George Floyd last year has shown a spotlight on what it means to be black, and especially to be dark-skinned in America. Special correspondent Fred D. Sam Lorenzo has our report from Minnesota, home to a growing population of African and other immigrants. It is part of our continuing series, Race Matters, and Fred's series, Agents for Change. The transcript reads, the death of, it reads, Amari remembers the first time she came to this mall, popular in Minneapolis. One of the women I was buying something from said, you know, if you were a little bit lighter, you will have been more beautiful. And just stated it casually. Being told she'd be more beautiful if she were a bit lighter is nothing new for Amara, because the prejudice against dark-skinned or colorism is pervasive even where people are dark-skinned, like Somalia, where she grew up. My mother's friends sometimes would say, like, I am darker compared to my sister, but my mother always used to say she's very beautiful, and so being very protective. In almost every corner of the planet, there's a huge social divide that comes from being light-skinned. Sociologists trace it back centuries to European colonization, slavery, and class. Studies have shown people with lighter complexions even earn more,
women
are less likely to be arrested, and if convicted, serve shorter sentences than people with darker skin. So this is when we get into the systemic oppression of dark-skinned people under the guise of colorism. Whiteness is the global beauty standard. It is reinforced in marketing by the multi-billion-dollar businesses of skin lightening products, hundreds of obscure brands, and some very known ones as well. Fair and Lovely is one of the most recognizable brands across South Asia and parts of Africa. It's made by Unilever, better known in America for Dove, Caress, and dozens of other household products. Sociologist Margaret has studied colorism globally. In some countries, the names are very overt: white and beautiful, white dream. In other countries, including the United States, we use a little bit more coded language, but they are selling the same set of values. It's not only limited to Somalia, but also the Asian communities, the Monk community, and the Latinx community. I was able to deliver these petitions and later to Amazon, and the following day we learned that they have removed the products off the shelves. So it just goes on and on and on and on and on about how a lot of the cosmetics was oftentimes geared toward lighter complexions, that societies were oftentimes created in a way to be servient to the status quo, which, as this article says, was European beauty standards. And so obviously the more lighter you were, the more you were celebrated, and the darker you were, even for dark-skinned women, were considered unattractive, considered ugly, considered a mammy, oftentimes having to deal with
yeah,
only having to rely on their actual features for people to compliment them, and even those compliments were an underhanded compliment, like you're pretty for a dark-skinned girl. Now, in terms of Monica's plight, when you get to like the urban aspect of the Black community, there's not a lot of colorism against dark-skinned men in that capacity, because there is a glorification of dark-skinned men in like urban Black spaces. Like, but a lot of that also has to do with a lot of the stereotypes of Black men, of dark-skinned Black men having bigger dicks, them being more testosterone driven. This idea, because a Black man is darker, that makes him stronger and more masculine. Therefore, he offers more protection physically. Like, all this weird, like, hyper masculinizing of dark-skinned dudes. So even when dark-skinned men benefit from the stereotypes about them, those stereotypes are still like the bleed out in the products of colorist anti-Black rhetoric that sometimes dark-skinned Black men do get to benefit from, but dark-skinned Black women, like I'm talking about like Naomi Campbell dark. Like, there's a reason why she for the long time was one of the only women, her complexion, who were supermodel status. Even Matthew Knowles talks about how Beyonce's complexion definitely gave her a leg up in terms of being a pop star in comparison to Kelly Rowland, who definitely he got to see, even as a manager, had certain obstacles before her in terms of marketability that Beyonce didn't have to have, simply on the basis of complexion alone. And so there's a lot there. You know, we're talking, jump back in there.
And I'm sorry I flew off the handle, but topics like this really grinds my fucking gears. It really does.
We get it. It's all really gas. Like, these topics are very triggering because they're very personable, even for D-Rock. Like, the issue of like just his complexion, because I know Rock personally, and just some of his experiences are definitely like in a line with what I hear a lot from like dark-skinned women and dark-skinned Black men. And it's really horrific, and it's very unfortunate, and it's very tragic. And while you're here, Rock, let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like the way that you internalize that anti-Blackness and that colorism, did you ever feel like you would be more attractive if you were lighter? Did you want to be lighter? Definitely. Did you ever feel tempted to bleach your skin, etc.?
Most definitely, and I'll actually get personal. I actually did.
Okay, so there is an echo somewhere.
Yeah, I hear it. I don't know where it's coming from.
Okay, I'm just gonna mute everybody just to cancel out. Okay, everybody's muted. Okay, go ahead. Let me see if it's still there.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, it's gone. Okay, go ahead.
All right, yeah, it's gone. Yeah, I actually did. I tried to. I mean, it was that deep for me. I tried bleaching my skin. I have been successful at bleaching my skin, but it went back to the original color, eventually. But and I actually did damage to my skin, bleaching my skin, until I started watching documentaries on it, and then I was like, oh, snap, I'm really doing some damage. I better stop. Until other stuff happened, with other areas of my life, and I started getting like counseling and therapy, and it was like, oh wow, this is some really deep like self-esteem issues going on here that I need to really try to resolve. And now when I actually look in the mirror now, I don't want to be lighter. I don't want to be darker. I don't want to be lighter. I want to be like the way I was made to be. And I was just lucky enough and blessed enough to be able to get to that point. But some people, I mean, skin bleaching is really big in like Jamaica and even Asia. Like if it wasn't, if colorism wasn't, like if dark skin wasn't a problem, like around the world, like it wouldn't be so big. Like skin bleaching wouldn't be so big. And I'm sure people heard the word tar baby.
Yes.
Well, that was a term that was thrown around a lot, like when I was growing up, like for people who are really dark, people who are like darker than me, you know. And I'm like medium, I'm brown, but there's people who are like close to black, and that was not acceptable in the black community. Those people were really looked down upon, and like I said, called tar baby and ugly and all of that. So, I mean, we can
even talking about like how oftentimes dark-skinned people were oftentimes the butt of a lot of jokes.
Yeah, stuff.
A lot of the old comedy is a drag of dark-skinned people talking about they look like they dark as midnight, they black like charcoal, like all of those the colorist statements, even within our entertainment field.
Yeah, and I mean we can go through the oppression Olympics and say, well, I'm more oppressed than that one, or you know, I'm, you know, but we all been oppressed as black people, blacks and gays. Like we all have faced oppression, rejection, had to battle through our own, fight through our own self-esteem issues and all of that. So we done all been through it in our own way. But
yeah,
I just want to say I'm proud of Lil Nas X because he's a gay boy openly. He's chocolate, you know, and he's making some bold moves, bold statements. You know, he's putting himself on the chopping block. And even though he's trolling, you know, but like somebody said earlier, like I heard T.S. Madison say, you know, he's trolling, but I stand for his trolling because of what it's accomplishing. So anyway, I'm proud of him.
Yeah, on a like surface level, like yes, but personally, I'm not here for Lil Nas X. But anybody who is just out there kicking the door down, even if it's for the sake of trolling, even if it's insincere, a door down is a door down, no matter why it's down.
Right.
Especially if it's a door that needs to come down. So I appreciate it in terms of, you know, it's another swing at representation, but I'm also not blind to the fact that there is obviously like a lot of like it's the messenger. Like I can take the message and receive the message, but personally I'm not really here for the messenger. But the message itself, I'm cool with. I would have much rather seen a brown skinned boy who I feel like been in this game for a long time and really means it is like Todrick Hall. Like he's put in the work to have earned something like a commercial performance of that magnitude. It's just weird that Lil Nas X is just like here for no reason, out of no fucking where, and just at the top for no fucking reason. And it's just weird. Like his whole career to me is like just weird and off-putting and random, and I don't even, it's just, there's just too many shit that's just like off about it. But I appreciate the message. I appreciate the like, okay, yes, I get it. Like I still benefit from it whether I fuck with you or not. So I get it and I appreciate it, but I would be lying if I said that I was going to grandstand for him, and I don't feel obligated to grandstand for him just because he's gay. Like I don't like a lot of his ways, and I wish I felt this was more sincere than what it is. I think Lil Nas X just don't give a fuck, and he just happens to be gay and can use that to troll rather than someone who's really interested and sincere in their efforts to help push society along. But if this is the way the universe is going to help move it along, is by utilizing a Lil Nas X, then so be it. Like the universe knows better than I. But I don't know. I'm just not here for the bitch. Like personally, yes, right you know, it does feel very exploitative. So it just feels something feels very unnatural, and my spidey senses are like wide open, and I'm not going to like go against that because my intuition has never been wrong. There's something like off about this. There's just something not right in Lil Nas X's Buttermilk, and it's all what don't come out in the wash is damn sure going to come out in the motherfucking rinse. And it'll all come when it come to the light. It'll come to the light. But go ahead. You was gonna say something, Chad.
I was just gonna say, well, maybe a lot of other people's spidey sense is going off. That's why people are speculating that he's maybe not really gay. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that maybe other people's spidey senses are going off, but they're not. They don't know how to put their finger on it. They're expecting that he's not really gay. But I believe he really is gay. But I see what you're saying.
Yes.
You know, I'm not here for the Satanism. Definitely not.
Yo, that was a whole. I still ain't recovered from them goddamn satanic shoes and shit. The blood. I've been like, girl, bitch, are you okay? Girl, it's kind of like a little too much too soon, girl. Like, can you ease the dick in, bitch? Like, I barely got lube on it, and you already going for the goddamn gusto, bitch. I ain't built for a hard impact, girl. Like, I need a soft sensual landing. Like, it was like too much at once. But I appreciate the message, and if everybody feels complete, obviously we definitely need to come back and have a full conversation on colorism. Obviously, Cardi B requires a whole goddamn video as well, and so we'll do all that this week. I ain't got nothing else to do, so we'll be coming back to talk about Cardi B ass and Nicki and do a show dedicated to colorism and anti-blackness and all that shit too. But I appreciate all of y'all for coming through and pushing through. If anybody has any lasting words, then speak or forever hold your motherfucking peace.
I'm glad you got that heifer off her comment off the thing, because that was really pissing me off. Like, she shut her damn mouth. That was with that ugly ass profile pic. Just be real. I'm just sick and tired of her dumb ass.
Oh my gosh, Monica.
Oh, just be real, my mod.
Oh, that's your mod. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's my God. You talking about just be real?
Yeah.
What? Like, what happened?
None.
Not just be real.
Not just be real. Come on now. Y'all gotta come. We gotta be family now. Y'all can't be having.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Y'all can't be doing no in-house beefing, child.
I'm sorry.
What? We're gonna talk about it, Monica. We're gonna have to talk about some things, honey. But is there anything that you want to? The panel that I wanted you to be on with me, Monica, was on my other subscriber. She's also a content creator named Jace. She had me and Miss Stevie on. She also wanted to have you on as well because she wanted to have us talk about our experiences. But she's looking to have another panel just between Black trans women and Black cis women. And she would love for you and Miss Stevie to come on together. And she also have some cis Black women there to get into a conversation about what needs to happen for.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So I'm gonna let her know that you're interested. Because she emailed me this morning, so I'm gonna email her back and let her know that you're interested. I'm gonna give her your information, and if I have to correspond between the both of y'all, then I can do that too. So I will email her tonight after I get off this live, and then I'll be giving you the information, and I'll just keep you updated on when she'll have the show and everything.
All right.
Okay, but before we go, is there anything that you want to say to the folks?
I just want to apologize. I know I got in my emotions a little bit. You know. So I just wanted to apologize for that.
Child, we understand, child. I got another supporter named Apartments Available in New York County, and she hold on, it's an echo somewhere. It's an echo.
I was just saying, mute the panel.
Can everybody mute themselves? Okay. Go ahead. Why would you mute yourself?
No, okay, no. The reason I was telling you that because the echo was real bad, I couldn't hear you. That's it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, do you have any last? Oh, I was saying that I have another subscriber name available. Apartments available in New York, and she's passionate. She's real, and out of being real, she sometimes gets misinterpreted or people take her wrong. I actually went through my settings and found that she was actually blocked. I had not blocked her. I guess one of my mods may have blocked her. I don't know what was going on. So I had unblocked her. And I do want to say here today that me and the mods will definitely be working closer than what we have to make sure that we're putting the right people on block, because it can be tricky determining who the fuck needs to go and who needs to stay. But we definitely have conscious crew members here who are just really expressive. They're really raw, and we just like to welcome everybody to freedom of expression. So, you know, that's what I like to have go on my platform. I like everybody to kind of be able to talk their shit, be in their feelings, even disagree with me. Like, you know, this is not one of those platforms where you have to fucking agree with people in the chat, and you don't have to agree with me either. I just ultimately don't want no explicit disrespect of anybody, but it's definitely okay to be disagreeable. It's definitely okay to have a difference of opinion. It's definitely okay to not, you know, be on the same page, but long as there's no explicit disrespect, then, you know, it's all cool and it's all gravy. But Reckless Logic, take your ass off. Are there any lasting words you want to have to the topic, honey?
The last thing I really wanted to say is that today was a really good conversation. We had an awesome panel. For one, we cannot stay on topic to save our lives. And then another thing I was gonna say is just give up my ending, like, you know, my outro, whatever. Hello everybody. As of right now, you are exiting the land of Reckless Logic. Please be who you are. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And by the way, my only two platforms I am currently using right now, as of right now, is Instagram, which is Strictly Reckless, and Big O, which is the username ID is Reckless Burrow. That'll be all. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Reckless. You always Reckless is going to have me come on to his. Is it Big O?
Big O. Big O. Big O.
Is what?
It's Big O.
Big O platform next month, honey, and he gonna put me in the ghetto of social media, honey, because that's what Big O is, the goddamn ghetto, honey. So,
yeah, because me and him most definitely had a conversation, and he talking about you always gotta have me in the ghetto. Da, 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 da. When I said, for one, you are getting a tattoo of Jesus. Well, Jesus was in the hood too. So with that being said,
okay, but that was Jesus' ministry, honey. My ministry ain't in the damn hood. My ministry is amongst the classy based folk of the world. You know, want me to drag them hoes. That's why you want me to come over there.
No. That's not the reason why. Well, we ain't gonna talk offline. But that's
okay. Well, I'm excited to be there. I will be there to do Bigo for the first time. I never even been on the platform at all. So that would be dope.
Honestly.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna call you when we get off here. So answer your motherfucking phone. And thank you for riding for damn 4 hours out with me. It was amazing.
Thank you.
Okay. Us, God, and
yes.
My wonderful, beautiful biracial mom.
I just wanted to say, I just want all of us to get along. The sooner we can start getting along and uplifting one another, the sooner all of us can elevate.
Absolutely.
As long as we keep feeding into this bullshit that everybody wants us to feed into, which is divide and conquer, we ain't never gonna get nowhere as a people.
Yes. And God bless you, Consciouztv. God bless your heart and all your parts. You heard me?
Thank you. And they are, Mr. Oz. They certainly are. And you know what? Since this issue of colorism came up, like, I do want to have that conversation this week. So I would love for, especially since you guys are marriage and intersecting with ethnicity and everything, like, you guys have to come back and talk with me about colorism and
we would love to talk to you, bro.
And also having a so anyway, so I never asked this question. Since you're biracial, Mrs. Oz, does that mean that y'all like in an interracial relationship?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're in an interracial, intersexual,
into every damn thing. Wow. It's too deep for my blood. Okay, so I'm gonna stay in contact with y'all and let y'all know and see when y'all available, and I would love to come back here.
We're always available for you, sir. We're always available. Trust and believe.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, thank you, and I love y'all, and
we love you too. And I hope that tat is doing well.
It's something I want to ask you, but I'm gonna ask you offline.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm asking you offline. All right, boo.
Love you.
I love you too. Bye. Oh, just be real. You know what? Hush. Okay. You is not gonna let these conversations around inches die, are you? Okay. Not. Good night, Miss Yaya. Yes, that's Miss 10 inches, honey. Yes, God, honey. 10 inches of steel. Breaking, what's going on, eh? Lots of feedback when you talk CTV. Yeah, I think it was an echo. Yeah, girl, you missed 4 hours. Rolling hard, 4 hours, child. Okay, I'll never be up here expecting to be here this long, but when duty calls, do that motherfucking call. So, but I love y'all, child. I'm gonna get in here. I'm gonna take me a shower. I'm gonna eat on my Domino's pizza, honey. I racked up like the big bitch that I am, honey. I got, girl, I don't even, let me tell you how much, girl. I'm gonna tell you why I'm repping for the fat hoes these days, honey, because bitch, I got a whole big girl living inside of me, baby. I don't even, when I go to DoorDash and shit, and on lazy days where I don't feel like cooking and shit, girl, I don't even shop in the single section for food no more, bitch. When I go to DoorDash, girl, I go to the family section, girl, where you get 24 goddamn burgers and 4 small fries and 24 goddamn drinks, girl, okay? And that's all for me, bitch, okay? That's how much of the big girl I'm getting on, bitch, okay? Ain't got no shame in it, honey, okay? Because, baby, I enjoy the cuisine. Yes, love you. Enjoy your night and have a happy hump day. You too, boo. I'm call you too, A. I love y'all, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.